Good morning. Stock futures are flat to start the day after a very, very strong session of gains. Yesterday saw the Dow and S&P gaining 1%. The NASDAQ was leading the way at a full 2% to the upside. You know, this despite the major rally, we are facing a holiday-shortened week where you will have potentially a red week. We did get some bank earnings on tap, a little bit mixed. We're going to go through all of those a little bit later, and we'll just have jobless claims data and retail sales in just a second. Fed Reserve member Waller did comment yesterday that getting inflation under control would take faster rate raises than normal, even though the pace of price increases, thereby inflation, has likely peaked. Individually, the big story is Elon Musk making a bid for Twitter for $54.20 because obviously that's what he did. Tesla shares actually trading down on that, while Twitter doing heavy pre-market volume and to the upside. Like we said, we got some bank earnings, but also Rite Aid came through with their earnings. From a downgrade to a bit of an earnings beat for them. Should be a wild day in the markets. It is Thursday, April 14th. tradertv.live starts now. So starting off with the big board, we did just get initial jobless claims data, 185,000 versus 171. Core retail sales was 1.1% increase versus expectations of 1. So a slight beat in terms of retail sales and then slight miss on the jobless claims data. Overall, the market, like as we mentioned, a little bit flat to start the day. The Dow leading the way, 0.17%. NASDAQ and ES have both been hovering back and forth between positive and negative territory. Crude oil slightly to the downside, down 1%, what had been a couple of days worth of bounces for crude. Bitcoin and Ethereum relatively flat. They've stabilized since sort of getting past that 3 to 440,000 level respectively. John, I see you got it on. We know what time it is. Yeah. Good morning, gentlemen. A lot to talk about today, but you know we could lead off with Elon, or we could talk about the Raptors.
Yeah, what's up? Yeah, thanks for noticing. It's kind of obvious today here that we're going to be supporting the Raptors. The Raptors start off on Saturday at 3:30. I see it over there. Fahad's got that on as well. Good. Yeah, let's get going on that one. We're really excited. We're going to take down the Philadelphia 76ers, which, of course, was my pick for the Eastern Conference. So now I have I've put money on the Raptors, so maybe this can be a double whammy here, but we'll see. You made some nice bets last night as well, some good NBA games, but hey, we're here to play the stock market, and I've already been quite active in Twitter this morning, already thrown down about 10 to 12 trades on that name. It's going to be a fun one here as Elon comes out with a 54.20 bid, and that should be really exciting. It's a take it or leave it type of thing here, Arun. So me and you went back and forth discussing, what the right play is going to be on that one. We talked about this yesterday, man. This is why, you look at Twitter. You watch the shares, you follow, tweets that come out, and Elon Musk apparently, throws that bomb today, 54.20. We'll see where it goes from here, but it's down to 48, bouncing between 48 and 49 right now. So I'm excited to trade it here today. I'm looking at Veru as well. I've got that going. I've been so busy trading this morning that I haven't even got to, I've been writing down notes on the sticky note here, but I haven't posted it up yet, so stay tuned, sticky note coming. Rite Aid, also very, very interesting. How do they go from Deutsche Bank saying, or Goldman saying, that they were going to be bankrupted, and then I just see right now they had revenues of $5.95 billion? Doesn't sound like they're going bankrupt anytime soon. They're losing money, don't get me wrong, but that's a nice little revenue number, so I'm excited to trade Rite Aid today as well.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of names that we can pick and choose from. A ton of banks. I was surprised about the amount of bank earnings that came out. Obviously, I've chosen one. I've chosen Morgan Stanley as the one that I want to play with. I'm not going to play with them all. You have options. You have Wells Fargo. You have Goldman Sachs. You have a bunch. Citigroup, I believe, was ripping too last time I checked. But there's a ton of names to choose, especially from the bank sector. So we've got two names long right now. We've got Morgan Stanley out 45 cents pre-market. Spreads are thin, whatever. And then Veru, as you can see, we talked about Veru yesterday. We talked about Veru
long?
I got Veru long at 15.30. That's a 73-cent winner right now. But we talked about this, so this should not be a surprise to anybody, because I mentioned this yesterday that once we got through 13, 14, and then into the 15 and the highs, depending on how we trade up there was a shot for us to extend. I'm a man of my word. I took my trade base. I don't forget about it. So that was the read I was looking for. Once we got above, and it seemed like we traded well too. So step in there. It's a 76-cent winner, and we haven't even opened yet, and already rallied in the 10 minutes. In the last 10 minutes, it went up $1.20 from 15.40 all the way to 16.60. Now it's come back into the 16 level, but definitely one to watch. We got Twitter on deck. We got Veru moving. A lot of good things happening this morning there, Neil.
Absolutely, lots happening. Actually, ECB's Lagarde with some comments out just now saying inflation pressures have intensified across many sectors. Recovery of economy boosted by fading of COVID. That's good news. But in addition to that, the surging energy prices are reducing demand and production. So just some comments coming from the ECB's head. But hey, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. She's back after a one-day absence. Miss V. Let's say good morning to her in the Arun. I like to say Arun Capital jacket on. It's one of my favorites, but good morning.
That's right. Good morning, team. Happy trading to you all. Remember, tomorrow markets will be closed, so let's do our best to make this day profitable. Please smash the like button and let's get it started, Neil.
Yeah, let's get it started indeed. I know we had a lot of bank earnings this morning, so we're going to come to Twitter because I think that's where we have to start. But Citigroup didn't actually make our watch, and realistically, all of them, we could have just grouped them all together, but they weren't on the watch list, so we'll go through a little bit later. But they did report last of the big four. They beat on EPS $2 a share versus $1.55. They did have, it was a plunge in fourth quarter profit, right? So actually less from quarter to quarter. Revenue did decline 2% to $19 billion. Fantastic number, 19 billion, but net income also fell to 4.3 versus 7.9 last year. So, while it is a beat of expectations, the expectations had been lower for a lot of those banks. But you already teed it up. We've already talked a little bit about Twitter. The details here are pretty clear, and they've actually traded off down below 49 now and have sort of based off from when I sat down. And part of it is that $54.20 from Elon Musk. And he says the company needs to be taken private to be transformed. He also added that he doesn't have confidence in company's leadership, and if they don't take his offer, that he's going to reconsider whether he wants to be a shareholder in the company. None of that actually sounds awfully bullish to me. Remember, we got to 55, or essentially that 54 to 55 price, really on the first day of trade. So I would say it's a bit of a disappointment for anybody that thought we're going to see some fresh highs on a taking private bid.
Yeah, I mean, that's, first of all, I was saying that of course he has to throw in there the 420, right? Like, I don't understand, like, Elon Musk. This guy's amazing, to be honest with you, but just to throw that in there, like, when you have that much money that it's like, you don't want to just offer $54. Like, you have to put in that 20 cents so you get that 420. If we all remember when it was like, he said that bought deal by the Saudis for Tesla at 420. Remember? That was a joke, and he got slapped around for that one and had to, suffer some consequences. But let's just see what happens here, man. I mean, it's trading at 48. I've made a couple trades here today already. I thought when I came in, I was like, you know what? This thing's at 48.80 or whatever it was. Basically where it is right now. I'll take the long. But then it broke 48.50 and I got out. Then I started bouncing around here, getting in and out near that 48 level. And then finally it held that 47.80. And that's where I pushed the long again and wound up taking, whatever, some of that money back. We're still going to be down on it because of that initial position was a bigger one for me because I didn't think that this was going to be going down at all. But it makes sense here. If the board doesn't want to accept this offer, I mean, the offer is good based on where we are come from because, before Elon got started here, we were talking $34, $35 down here. And I mean, I was mocking it. We all were. Twitter's been a disgrace, quite frankly, as far as the way the stock's been moving. I mean, call it what it is. But the market's been down here, right? The market's gotten absolutely destroyed from the NASDAQ standpoint, especially a social media standpoint as well. So, I mean, Twitter is coming to the downside. We've seen Facebook. Like, you think Facebook's going to sell if you offer it, 20% more than its current price? They're not, right? So I don't think it's, like Neil said, I don't think it's a very aggressive offer considering Twitter was just at yesterday $46. So you're just bumping it up like 46.10, like I said, about 20%. It's not good enough to get done, I don't think, anyways, especially when you were just trading in the summer at 70s. So you know, I think that his take it or leave it offer, it's nice, but you can do that to any company, right? I mean, you can come in and say, well, I mean, he could anyways, pretty much come in and say, hey, look, I want to take a firm private at $60. You know, what are you going to do about it? It's only at 40, I'm giving you 60, but it was at 200, you know? So I feel like the offer, although a legit one, and I think Twitter should take it, if you're on the board, you probably turn this down, to be honest with you. I don't think it's enough of a premium. I think Twitter has a lot to do now with even some of the suggestions that he made, the edit button, different things like that, Twitter Blue, accepting cryptocurrencies as different payments, things like that. So yeah, look, I'm for it. I wish as a shareholder he got it done, because I'm with you, Arun, when we talked about it before. If this gets denied and Twitter, all of a sudden there's a note that comes out today even that the board's no longer considering this, then, I mean, where do you fall to? Like almost back down to 52-week lows, probably down to 30, 35 bucks again. So I think it's a very risky spot to start a position right now. The best way to play this, in my opinion, would be with options, just, you know, either going both ways and try to make that big move, or you know, just hold on. But I feel like there is some risk to the downside here, and the stock is showing that.
Yeah, and I like Sean and I talked about earlier, I think the downside risk outweighs the upside potential. The only reason being the premium isn't high enough. 54.20 is, you know, the stock was trading roughly in the 50s, low, high 40s, 48, 49 into the 50s. So upside is, if you lock it in, it's a closed-end argument too. It's like, this is my price, best and last offer, take it, or essentially, I'm gonna dump my shares, wink, wink. $4.20, $5 upside. If you dump it, if they say no, downside risk is what now? It just does. I just can't get past the risk profile on a trade like this, especially at these prices. Now, if you left it and said, this is, you know, this is my offer, or this is my first offer, and left it at that, Twitter's going to have a field day with the upside. But I'm not a fan of this type of movement, because headline risk is to the downside at this point, unless someone decides that, you know what, I'm willing to pay more than 54 bucks, but there hasn't been anyone that came along in the last little bit. Is there going to be somebody else that comes along and say, I'm willing to pay more? So for me, I'm hands off on Twitter. No, thank you very much.
Yeah, it's one of those where it's going to be something we have to talk about. I mean, obviously, but you know, the trade, of course, is something that you have to be able to structure. And you know, one person I know that always is able to structure a trade. I think we have Luis Barbado ready to go. Welcome, Luis. Good morning. First of all, good morning, good afternoon for you, of course. I'm filling in for Brennan here, but it's good to actually talk to you again. But I want to start things off by simply asking you, because we're just talking about Twitter. Do you have a particular approach to this name? It seems unavoidable trading this today.
It seems unavoidable. First of all, hi, Neil. I'm glad to speak to you after so many weeks with Brennan. It's nice for a change. It is unavoidable to trade, as you say. It's going to have a lot of volume. Probably won't do a lot of crazy things around here, $50, $48. That should be the range to trade today. It feels kind of weird buying 9% of a company, pushing it 25%, and 3 or 4 days later want to buy the whole company. You know, it doesn't sound very smart from Elon Musk, but you don't know what's really behind these intentions. So let's wait to see how it trades.
Yeah, well, I mean, one thing about Elon is I think that you expect the unexpected, to be sure, and that's why you've got to pay attention. Keep your ear to the ground as well, because that's going to be a big story. And I want to jump to what has been the flavor of the week, because I'm almost more than fairly certain that you've been looking at or trading Veru. Arun's in it right now. He's actually trading the name. It was pretty significant news, right? Like the results were so good of their study that they actually halted the rest of the late stage study for their COVID treatment. And we saw how powerful the run was. It made a late day run yesterday. It's again testing highs. It did halt earlier in the week, but is this a name that is all over your radar? Do you see any sort of red flags to it? And then I want to get your thoughts on one last thing about this, because for a couple of days, it's been free locates to be able to go short this name. What do you think about that as an effect on the stock?
It was very, very dangerous stock on Monday. As you could see it running 200% up. You could see from $6 to $6.50 that something was happening there. And we should have avoided after this 10% movement in 1 minute, because something was going on. and it kept running to $12, $14. It was very dangerous stock that day on Monday. As you say, easy to locate. So that gives you a clue that many people is going to get squeezed on the short side. So it was dangerous. Yesterday, of course, and the day before was more normal to trade. But today, pushing highest, we might see another sort of squeeze today, maybe over $16.50, $70. There is no roof over there. Good news, yes, maybe, but check out the headquarters of the company and all the fundamentals. It is not so good, I think, to go to $20. So, but you never know. Sort of squeeze can happen. It's going to be very active to trade for sure. Be very aware of new highs with volume because a lot of people is looking this stock. A lot of day traders and algos are trading this stock. So be careful and avoid very, very volatile and difficult moments to trade. That's our key for Vero today.
Yeah, absolutely. And just a couple more thoughts here. It's, of course, a holiday shortened week. So, first, do you have a different approach, or is there anything that you look at a little bit differently when you have, like the Thursday before a long weekend here, maybe slowing down in the afternoon or getting most of your trading in the morning? And are there any specific symbols outside of, obviously, Vero and Twitter that people are looking at that catch your eye?
First of all, as you say, before a holiday, we trade very active for the first hour, and then we take it easy because volume is going to disappear. Movements are going to be more linear without noise and very trending and grinding one side or the other. So we're going to avoid after the first hour in the market, we will avoid trading big anymore. More symbols today, we're checking DLPN is up 20% right now. We're going to check $485 if it breaks higher. We're going to see it probably a runner today. And also Biofrontera, BFRI. I know it's not moving today, but it is in a very important movement, breaking range about $4.60 to $5. It's going to be in play again, as it was like 2 or 3 days ago with the earnings. Those for the small caps. And in the blue chips, we're going to check the financial, the banks today, of course, because the earning, Citibank and Morgan Stanley mainly. Not a lot of movement, but before holidays, it's okay to have a couple of stocks like this to make 3 or 4 good trades during the day.
That's what I love to hear, Luis. So thank you as always. Before we get you out of here, I see you in a T-shirt. What's the weather like in Barcelona?
It's always nice. We have been, it's been raining for a couple of days, but now it's again like 18, 20 degrees. Spring is here already.
Yeah, we had 20 yesterday and then 10 today, but we're definitely getting some of that rain. So always making us jealous. Once again, thank you for coming on here, part of the Day Trade the World family. Luis, best of luck trading and have a fantastic long weekend.
Thank you, Neil. Enjoy.
All right, so let's get right at it. I mean, obviously, we just talked a little bit about Twitter, but I did want to maybe a couple of those names that were mentioned in small cap we're going to definitely get to. There were some other earnings across the board that I did want to quickly jump to. I know UNH reported they had pretty much a slight beat here. Not a lot of pre-market trading, and we're going to pick and choose. We're not really ignoring anything that reported here, but UNH basically flat, not really doing a heck of a lot. We just got the Citigroup numbers in as well, but before we jumped into the futures, I wanted to get your thoughts, maybe Arun, if we could, just on what we're seeing in oil, because it has pulled back about 1%.
1.3% I'm seeing on crude. Let's take a look. It's not going to be any different from what I've said in the past. It's still going to be that, hey, 92.15 to 92, that's going to be your support base. 105-ish, at least we can start looking for shorts into that 110, maybe the upside here. Either end of these ranges works, but if we're sitting here at 102, 1% move keeps us in the middle of the range. So nothing doing here on crude, even with this action that we're getting. I mean, 1.3 relative to what crude's been doing in the last little bit isn't that much, but again, the day's not over yet. So we're gonna wait for crude to actually make a move either to the upside or to the downside by 110 up top, 92 and change down below, and see which side this market wants to go. But for the time being, it does look like some of these banks, these banks are coming back in. Well, like specifically, we'll get into Morgan Stanley when we talk about it, but damn, these banks are not having a good time right now in the pre-market, even with good earnings too. So. All right, what else I got? Oh yeah, Vero. Vero was a nice one, but coming back in now that for a 1531 long, but I'm not in it just for the quick shot here on Vero, so we are going to hold ground and stick with this trade. I don't mind this trade. I like the way it's setting up, so no reason to rush the exit even with this pullback even after it came out through that 1650. I want to see what this market is going to bring after the open, because we saw what it brought in the pre-market or the aftermarket yesterday. Huge run up or late in the session. Shorts covering. In this case today, it looks like shorts are coming back on board around that 16. We'll see what this open brings there, Neil.
Going to talk a little bit of upgrades and downgrades, and one of these is not likely to make Miss V friends with certain Morgan Stanley. We'll get to that in a quick second there. Yesterday, we had the airlines absolutely surging. We all saw that off of Delta's earnings, positive comments by their CEO. Delta gets the upgrade today, and they actually were the trailer of the group because you had both Southwest and American Airlines a lot stronger than Delta. Petco catches an upgrade by Citigroup. They're up 3.5%. GE, not a name we've seen there a while. They're flat on the day, but catching an upgrade as well. Bed Bath & Beyond, after reporting their disappointing earnings, there was a bit of a, we'll call it like a squeeze. It had come down so far, a bit of a bounce in their trade, down 3% after catching a downgrade. Raymond James, and there it is. It's Starbucks. Flat on the session, but Morgan Stanley slapping them with a downgrade. There's been some demand concerns for them, to be sure, and of course, inflation has weighed heavily. Spotify gets a downgrade. They are trading up in the pre-market trade, but I think the big story here, of course, was yesterday and those airlines, super strong. But it wasn't just them. Cruise lines, entertainment, hotels, casinos were all very strong off of that Delta report.
Would have held that stupid Twitter. Yeah, no, I want to look at Delta for sure. But there goes Twitter right now mooning, as we like to say, as all the Elon Musk fans out there. We get Dogecoin mooning. We get Twitter mooning. We get Tesla mooning. Let's just see what happens. It's right up to VWAP again. We got to respect these levels. There's 21 million shares already done today, so it's trading as if it's open. So you can definitely step in now and start to get a little excited. We did put it here on our sticky note, which I apologize, did get out too late. It's because I came in here and I was trading. I mean, you know, it is what it is, but the sticky note is now out. And I just said right here on Twitter, big volume, it's rocking here between 48 and 49. These are the levels. I couldn't put it any more simple than that. It was trading between 48 and 49. And then there's the breakout now of 49. I like it. It was a little bit of talk in there about Twitter. But yeah, there it goes. Right up to that VWAP. I didn't notice that. That's actually at 32. I have my order at 50. So if it comes back up into 49.50, we'll get out. I mean, I just put it there because it was random. There was a little bit right there at 49.50. But again, just because I trade around the quarters, has nothing to do with anything. And then if it gets up to 50, I'll probably take another piece out. And then we'll see if we fly higher here. I think... Again, it's really ridiculous to say where I think this is going. We just have to do what we've been doing on Twitter. That is trade prices, trade levels, and then trade the momentum. And right now, the momentum's to the high side. So let's see what it does. 21 million shares. I like Delta here because of a few things. A, they get that upgrade. That's great. Like, that's what we're talking about. They broke out yesterday through this $40 level on the earnings, which was fantastic. We saw them drag up everybody else in the space, including JetBlue, including American, was up 11% last time I checked. I'm going to sneeze again. I said that to Arun. There's something here the last couple of days that's making me sneeze.
It must be me. Don't worry. I'll be gone.
Your cologne there, Arun. No, I don't think you wear any cologne. Do you? I think we have like a no scent policy, but maybe that's what it is around here. No. I want you to stay. It's not you, Arun. It's not you, Arun, at all. And I want to say one more thing here. First of all, thanks to Arun. Again, this is going to be his last day. He's been doing good work for Brendan, obviously, on vacation. Everybody's healthy. Everybody's fine. Brendan, enjoy. I hope you're not watching. You're not as crazy as me. But I hope you enjoy your vacation the last few days. And then we'll welcome the full team back on Monday. Remember, we are not here tomorrow as it's Good Friday. So everyone, hopefully, we already have lots of plans for that. There's some sort of a Easter fair happening. We've got unlimited day pass for the rides. The kids are jacked up. We have some sort of an Easter egg hunt happening on Saturday in my neighborhood. So that's really exciting as well. I just said to my wife, I'm really excited about this weekend. So let's start it off on the right note. But what I was getting to with Delta was just that I think if it comes back in here, it's going to be a good little trade. So, you know, yesterday we barcoded in here between 40 and 40.50. I'm thinking on a fall down, if this market falls off a little bit here today, I like Delta around this 40.50 area, and we'll see if it can support it. And then worst case scenario, maybe you break 40. But I think it was a good report yesterday. We took out that 40 level. So I'm like to support Delta near 40. So that's going to be my play on that name as my Twitter position, still $1 in the money.
Yeah, just a couple of comments coming here from Fed Williams here. So I just want to make sure we get some of these here. He said we need to get back to more neutral level. We heard that from Brainerd yesterday. But the big story, of course, is pace of rate hikes depends on the path of the economy. But 50 basis points at next meeting is a reasonable option. So they're expecting very high inflation. They need to focus on bringing inflation down. Pretty much, I think you're getting a lot of the same language that we heard out of what was an obvious market moving event, the Fed minutes there, and they're going to be staying the course. Those 50 basis points feel like they're incredibly likely, and what a perfect time to sort of jump from that sort of macro look over to talking about the futures. So, this futures segment, we're going to talk to Arun here, going to be brought to you again by the Small Exchange, making it easier to access futures, no pattern day trading, less capital than stocks. Get started trading futures today. Get started learning about the futures right now with Arun, because I want to hear about your levels, not just because it's options expiration, Fed comments the last couple of days, and a holiday shortened week. So there's a lot to digest when talking about the end of this somewhat negative week.
Yeah, same levels, right? We worked with them on Monday. Was it Monday? The 12th. What is it? It was Tuesday. It was Tuesday. We worked with it on Tuesday on the short side. And then yesterday we were waiting for it to enter into the same range. Never got a chance, never got a setup going. And then here we are in that range that I want to work with on the short side for the futures. Not entirely convinced. I am thinking short, but not entirely convinced on this movement. Definitely not at these prices. I'm not paying 30. Not happening. But if we can get it into the mid 40s, maybe low 50s, and it starts to slow down. So you're going to have to see it essentially bounce like 15 points and then slow down, at which point I'll step in, go for the shorts against the 65. That's the only trade I'm seeing right here. Short side against the 65. If we get the 65 break, you move the levels down, you look for a long, but you don't price it in at 65. You got to get it lower. So here I am looking in one specific location. We're either going to get the short through here, which is essentially mid 40s into 65, or we get them break above 65, at which point you look for longs, but you got to look for the longs back underneath towards the 50s and the mid 40s. So you're essentially working the same area on the short side and the long side, but you got to wait for this market to declare itself. At this point in time, I think this market has a chance to bounce, like a real bounce attempt through from 30 back towards the mid 40s into the 50s, at which point we'll have a decision to make whether that's enough for a short or whether we're going to have to wait a little bit. But I am looking for the short side. I'm wearing a Green Arrow shirt, so I mean, I'm not committed to either side just yet. I just want some more info. I'll wait for the open. Like you mentioned, options expiration should bring some activity towards the close. Going into a long weekend, that should bring some volatility. Volatility is good for traders, so hopefully we get some of that action throughout the day as well. Obviously, we have Twitter, we have Vero that's going. We have the banks absolutely going in, not in the right direction right now, not with the Green Arrow direction, but they did have earnings, essentially plethora of earnings from a bunch of different banks. They all seem to be doing their own little thing right now, so we're going to wait for them to get going after the open, because I'm sure a lot of opening programs have something to say about those bank earnings.
I believe I noticed that Green Arrow shirt. I'm in the red today because I didn't own any pink, but also want to support the Raptors, who I don't know if they got a chance there, Sean, but I hope they make a good fight of it because they're a really, really well-coached team. But if you want to be really well-coached on how to trade the markets, you've got to have a plan. That's why every single day we have our watch list, free watch list, watchlist.tradertv.live. You can also scan the QR code to see what is moving. Like you mentioned, bank earnings are going to be on focus, and I feel like going to be a bit of a broken record here, but we do need to start things off sort of addressing Tesla. Now, anyone that missed the first 10, 15 minutes of the program here, Elon Musk, 54.20, he wants to take them private. Clearly the stock had already made moves, had already made some big-time moves to 55 when it was first announced. This is a take it or leave it, so he says offer, and if they don't take it, he could pull. And if he were to sell his shares, I'm sure we can imagine what that might do to the company. The only thing I will add that we maybe haven't addressed is Tesla shares did initially fall when this news was announced. So they dropped from 10.20 here a little bit to the downside. But let's just go back over Twitter, because I want to get the approach of, I know, Sean, you're going to be scalping it, and I know, Arun, you said risk off, but is there a structured trade or a direction that you could pick here if you had to, gun to your head, Arun? Like if you could find yourself in something all day long, what would we be looking at for Twitter? Or is this simply a scalper's dream?
I mean, okay, from the technical side, there's only one trade that you could potentially make, and no one's going to like this one because everyone loves Elon, but it's going to be pretty much the failed break high short, right? If you know 54.20 is going to be the ceiling and it goes close and then fails again, you have a limited risk to the upside. Of course, it can go above 54.20, but at the same time, you generally now know the area where this market wants to float around or the stock wants to float around, and all you do is then go for the short and play the downside risk of the headline risk, essentially, because unless you get blown up by a great headline that is like, yeah, you know what, we're going to pay more than 54.20 or whatever, at which point you deserve to get run over. But I think you play the downside headline risk. From the intraday perspective, that's the only trade, but again, it needs to get up close enough so the risk is low, and then you go for the short and you just wait on that headline to come out. That's the only way to play the headline risk if there's only one way it can come out, right? I mean, the flip side is, yeah, we'll take your offer, at which point it goes to 54.20, and then what? You get out for a 40-cent loss? That's worth it, I think, if you have the downside, the huge downside. Because typically what happens on these names is it runs up on the news, it comes down in the pre-market, and then it makes another run to the upside, and then at this point you just wait for it if it can get you that short. If it can't, if it doesn't get close enough, then you just go hands off. But that's the only trade I would take, and only above that 53 marker too. So I would only put up $1.20, maybe $1.50, depending on how 53 plays. But it's got to get up there for me to get involved in Twitter.
Yeah, sorry about that sneeze again, guys. I have my cough button here. I'll fix that next time. And no, I'm feeling completely fine. Honestly, it's. My nose is stuffy here, and I don't know why, but I think I must have allergies. I think that has to be. But I've never had allergies before, so and just so you know, obviously we wouldn't be risking anybody here. We have a full, health policy in place. We've tested, everything is fine as far as being more sick than what I think I am, but I'm not. I feel completely fine. Look, okay, so Twitter right now. Look, this 49.50 level. I think Arun just talked about. I don't think we get anywhere near $54 obviously today, but I agree with Arun. If you do make that run up there and fail, that's going to be a short. I mean, I don't have a preference going long or short in this name right now. I just trading what I see, and honestly, this 48.50 bottom's held over and over and over again, except for when I was in it right here. But we learned our lesson. It did wind up holding 48, and then we punched along, and now we're in $1 in the money. So far, so good here today on Twitter. It's just a matter of watching what happens off the open. You can sit here and we can talk about every little situation. The one thing that I do agree with, although I saw Daniel say it there as well, I should take some Sudafed. Yeah, that's good call there, George P. Yeah, so I feel like, if it drops, the real big thing about all of this is that it was a take it or leave it offer. I mean, if it was just like, oh, okay, you know what, I'll pay 54.50 or 54.20, and then maybe left the door open for some kind of negotiation there, then obviously I think that this would be flying and you'd be much closer to 54 than we are right now. But you're still 10% away plus change on that offer right now. So I think you just keep going long until you break. Really, what happened this morning was that 48 and change. So that's what I'm talking. Sorry, 47 and change. The real bottom there was 47.70 on a wick, but I think you want to protect that 48 level. That's what I'm going to be doing. And then honestly, the downside of this is pretty horrendous, back down to 30 and even lower than that. Remember that it started going when he was talking about it earlier, about saying Twitter's not really a voice for the people. He wants to create something like that. Maybe he creates his own Twitter. Well, that started to get Twitter going a little bit from $33, $34. So if he says, you know what, I'm selling my 9, remember the 9% is what got this from 38 to 50 in the first place. If he sells that 9%, obviously the market can handle that. I'm not worried about the volume coming into it. I'm just worried about that tweet that happens that says, okay, Tesla's rejecting this, or sorry, Twitter's rejecting this. I'm back on to my other unlimited amounts of projects, right? So, and with that being said, I almost think that Tesla's almost more interesting right now than Twitter. I mean, Tesla's bouncing off 1,000 right now, and this is a pretty interesting level as well. I mean, downside in the morning, 996. We saw what it traded yesterday. Yesterday was a good day for Tesla. Nice little moves upside, and then it held the bottoms from Wednesday as well, this 975. So if the market does come down, I feel like you can look at Twitter right here, or sorry, Twitter, now I'm getting them confused. Tesla right here at 975. You're also hovering around 1,000, which is pretty awesome. And then you have the high of 1025. So you're into $50 range here. There to there is $50 yesterday. Clean, straight move. That's 5% straight to the upside from the bottom. So if the market stalls out here at some lows, we look to pick this up and then hopefully get a rally back in the afternoon like we did yesterday. So I like Tesla down here at 975. I think we saw Rivian off that nice call. Nice call for hot on that one. Up to $38, $39, $40. Rivian. Tesla has an opportunity to go as well. So I like Tesla and Twitter to the long, but I'd like to see them both fall.
Yeah, actually, Rivian, worth mentioning here, we got to that 41.20. I actually happen to have the chart up, coincidence. But right at this 41 level, barcoding off those highs, right? So you can note that the move on Tesla back to the downside, that's an entirely Elon Musk Twitter news, because the other names holding up the strength that they had in yesterday's action, Rivian consolidating maybe for another break. We'll have to take a look and see. Now, when I say bank earnings mixed, and that's going to be the next topic that we have here, because we just talked Tesla there, obviously Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs absolutely blowing it out of the water. You can pick and choose. It was Wells Fargo that was a bit of a disappointment there. And they're down after, and it wasn't totally bad, right? Like, they're down significantly, trading down 4%. They did beat on earnings, 88 versus 80. Revenue was below expectations, but I think the bigger line was $1.1 billion was set aside for loan losses, and they are expecting, the CEO actually commenting that they expect an increase in loan losses, despite the fact that, of course, they are going to stand to benefit from a raising rate environment. That $1.1 billion, in contrast, with about $900 million or just over $900 million set aside by JP Morgan yesterday, JP Morgan being the biggest lender. So part of the reason why Wells is bucking the trend and down nearly 5% here, despite the fact Morgan and Goldman blowing it out of the water, as did Citigroup.
Yeah, well, for me, as you guys can see, I am already in Morgan Stanley. I like Morgan Stanley. I was looking at the chart on the daily, and I'm like, man, Morgan Stanley, of all the choices that you could make, you had Goldman, you had Citigroup, and you had Morgan Stanley. And Morgan Stanley had broken this 86 in the pre-market. It looked like it was trading well above it. And then I'm like, oh, I get a premium. I can pay 85, 75 instead of having to pay above 86 to play this level. Why not? So I caught it on the way down, and obviously it's still moving down. It looks like it's found a kind of a decent support area around that 85 mark. But we are playing Morgan Stanley, trying to work that 86 as a potential breakout point, basically off the daily level. Now, when it comes to bank earnings, obviously Morgan Stanley did well. You talked about, there's two banks that didn't. Wells Fargo missing on the revenue side, then PNC also missing on the revenue side, even though their EPSs came in well. So you have a couple of short candidates if you want to go for relative weakness in the bank sector. Then you have the Wells Fargo, not the Wells Fargo, the Morgan Stanleys, the Citigroups, and the Goldman Sachs that you can go for the long with, right? So you have a couple choices depending on the direction that you want to play. I was initially looking at PNC as well as the potential, but PNC, I'm not going to pay up here. I want to see how it trades. It's barely trading in the pre-market. I want to see how it opens. If it can open south of 176, there could be a shot on the short side. So I might be long Morgan Stanley and short PNC, depending entirely on how it opens. As you can see, for something that had earnings, there's no trading. There's very little trading. I think we ran at 8 o'clock off the D prints, we ran 700 shares. That's not much at all. So we're going to have to wait for PNC to open. There's an option there. And of course, WFC is the other one that you can potentially go on the short side with if you catch a read there or you see a read on the short side.
All right. I found my Claritin. So here we go. So I had some Claritin, some allergy.
Yeah.
It says for sneezes, runny nose.
How long have you had that?
Itchy nose? Huh?
How long have you had that?
Yeah, I know. I trust me. I checked October 22.
Okay,
expiry.
You're good.
Yeah. I had an allergic reaction to a pool, like a chemical in a pool, I think. So I bought these, about a year ago or so.
Yeah.
But I did double check and I just looked. I don't know. I took one of them. I don't know how many you're supposed to have there. I don't want.
It's supposed to be one.
It's supposed to be one. Okay,
Yeah.
Good thing I didn't crush two there. So we'll see if that's coming back in. But to me, the exciting one here is WFC, just because you are at a key level again. Look, I mean, it's going to be way smarter people than myself here to analyze what exactly these bank numbers are. I mean, they report. They're all over the place all the time. There's so many different aspects. There's so many different different market centers for them, revenues centers as well, loan appreciation, depreciation. WFC here takes a first quarter, 1.1 billion was set aside to account for loan losses. Like, is that a lot? Is that not enough? I don't know. So we're just going to look at this very, very simply here. Oh, no. Oh, God. Okay, so what I was going to look at there was when those charts got fixed, but was this 46 bottom. So we've just come here. It's actually, this bottom is 45, but it's just we've come into 46 here a couple times. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here with WFC. Maybe on the 20-minute, it looks a little bit better. So there it is right there. We've already broken below this 46.50 level, and now we're starting to go a little bit lower. We've touched 46.20 today. I think that we want to fade WFC. It's down that 4%. I don't know. I don't think any of the banks right now, I know you're looking at Morgan, but I don't know if any of them are actually. Goldman's up. I was going to say I don't know if any of them are up, but Goldman's up today. So if you want to play some strength, I think you want to look at Goldman. And I know Citigroup reported late, not on our watch list, but that name should be up as well. Yeah, up 1.5. And then Morgan is the name that you're in that I guess you just covered. But that one is flat-ish, right? No, 1.78. Okay, so that's up as well. So looks like WFC is going to be the only down bank here heading into today. There's PNC, there's a few other names. But for me, I was just looking at WFC off that 46. The fact that they're the only one down leads me to believe that maybe there is some catch-up play here today in this name. So we've already touched down 46.35, bumped back up. So I'm not going to look at the banks early, but we will look at them late. And then, you know, as the trading goes on, we'll definitely have a look. Let's just quickly look before we go to Miss V. Ford, we like Ford through 1580. It's not quite there yet. We've talked about those levels. Alibaba has news today, starting to head down below 100. But look, no banks. I mean, I don't even see, I mean, BAC is there. Did they report BAC? No, they're not on our list. That must be the next one to drop, BAC. But yeah, look, I don't see any of them on here. So there just doesn't seem to be too much interest. I don't even see WFC, which is a surprise, normally on here just on normal days. So yeah, I think a lot of the focus obviously going to be on Twitter, going to be on AMD near that 100 level. I'm excited to trade that as well. And then I know that you've got obviously Veru on board. We're looking at that. But yeah, so far so good. Look, Ms. V went live 2 days ago. Off yesterday, back today. Ms. V, are there any stocks you're looking at right now?
Sean, thank you for asking. I just wanted to bring it up, guys. Around 19 minutes left until the open. I'm super excited. As Sean mentioned, it's my second day trading real money. I'm super excited. I can see that you're long on Twitter. I'm actually also will be looking for opportunities in that name. And while I'm here, guys, please support the community. Smash the like button and help us get 1K likes before the bell. Now let's continue with Neil and the watch list.
Yes, best of luck to Miss V, and you got to be trading what's moving. That's why I want to see you trading some Twitter there, because it's going to be a great learning experience either way. It was just a couple of days ago, well, a few days ago, that Goldman Sachs slapped a $1 price target on Rite Aid. So from $16 to $1, citing that they didn't think they'd have enough profits to continue as a viable business. So those are pretty negative comments. Today, they report, and hey, they actually end up with a revenue beat by 110 million, 6 billion in revenue. They're losing money, right? I mean, EPS, minus 162, and that actually was a bit of a miss. Not a bit of a miss, it was a big miss. And, obviously adjusted EPS forward guidance, that's the key thing here, is adjusted forward guidance, looking at losing $1 to 50 cents to $1 versus a consensus of 2. So clearly they're guiding better here. The story is vastly different from what we were getting about a week ago, and we're essentially back towards the same levels we were when that $1 price target got slapped on them. So all the way back down to 6.5, and right back to where we started on Rite Aid. So what do we do here? Because you've got one thing coming out of the results and a totally other one coming from a respectable analyst.
Yeah, I think you go long. Almost as simple as that. I mean, honestly, like Rite Aid today, and I was actually looking it up, and maybe you can confirm it on the Icon platform there, but I have 33% short float on Rite Aid, right? And again, I apologize. Okay, we're reloaded on Twitter. Twitter just came in and filled us up there at 48.20. So we do have more shares now on TWTR. So I don't mean to switch it over, but I'm going to take a piece out now as this is starting to rip to the upside. Get some offers here. I want to make sure we take a little bit of profit as we just got 48.17, just took some out at 48.40 there. And again, my drop spot is going to be a 48 break. Just make sure that we have that in there. Waiting for time and sales. Yeah, okay, so if we break down through 48, we're going to get out of that. Okay, Rite Aid again. Oh, man, I might sneeze again here. Rite Aid, yeah. What was up with that? I mean, they declared these guys dead for, and maybe we can confirm that again. I think it was Deutsche Bank. Was it Deutsche Bank? I think you said Goldman, but
the earnings today, but it is Deutsche Bank.
Okay, good. So Deutsche Bank the other day comes out, and we actually destroyed this. This is one of my favorite trades in a long while because Rite Aid ticked up like, I don't know, 30 or 40 cents against us. And then we slammed it to the downside, and we hit it all the way down to $6. But what a great bottom that was, man. $6 into 8.40 today. I mean, you're getting basically, if that touches 9, you're 50% of the money off that bottom. So I think Rite Aid today says, hold my beer, man. We're not going bankrupt. They have $6 billion in revenues. Like, wow, I didn't realize that. Still losing money, but first profitable quarter apparently on our notes here. First time revenue beat, sorry, not profitable quarter, in 4 quarters. So I believe this caught a lot of traders offside, so I want to look long. I just feel like once we open up here today, this has a chance to blast to the high side. For me, first level, defend 8 right there. So I am waiting for bids now down just to double check where I'm bidding at 8.10. So we'll see if we get an 8.10 bid. Remember, off the open, anything can happen. You can flush down. And the only reason I'm doing 8.10, nothing other than $8. So let's see if we can defend that. Then I drop it down here and I say, okay, worst case scenario, there's always worse, but worst case scenario is that we take down this 750 and then I'm going to get out. So I don't really want to get involved if it's back down in here. To me, I'll get out if we break 750, comes back in. I mean, maybe we'll give it a little bit lower than that, 740, something like that, down into here. But then we'll see if there's a wick off bottom, then we can hit this back to the upside. But I don't want to be wrong on this name, so we're not going to be in this for too long. It's a nice bump up, 12%. Those that are long might be in there to take some profits, but I feel like this has surprised a lot of traders, put them offside. So that's what I'm looking for. Again, one of those kind of bump ups here, traders offside. You're running right into $9. So I mean, like technically, it's probably a fade right here into these levels. But again, if we take it out, we could climb to 10. So I'm excited for Rite Aid. Let's see if we get squeezed higher here. Not in position, needs to come down to $8 for me to get jiggy with it.
And I agree with exactly what Sean said. It's in that area where you want to fade it, right? That's what I'm going to wait for. The open, see how much buying is left on the table. If we don't have enough buying, short it, use 9 as a stop, see where it wants to go. Because if we're sitting anywhere inside of this zone, let me see if I can get the drawing out. Anywhere inside of this zone, pretty much from 8 to about 850, call it 50, but it's probably like 860 or so. There's going to be a ton of action. Where are we trading? We're not that far off. I think we're right there actually right now. I've got an alert out for about 820 or so. I just want to see it fall down. It's trading at 845 right now. So if it falls down after the open, give it 5 minutes. See if we can't get any buying coming in. If there's no buying, out the door. Thank you. I'll take the shot on the short side.
And we're going to get to Alibaba in a quick second here, but Twitter's board is meeting at 10 to discuss the offer. I think we mentioned the Goldman Sachs is advising them there. And also apparently Elon Musk was raising cash before announcing this. So he was prepared for this the entire time. So Baba's back in the news here. China's anti-corruption watchdog is involved in a probe of Jack Ma's aunt. So once again, you have, the eyes of the CCP on tech in China. The other piece of news, there is a shuffle up going on in Alibaba with their cloud division. Both the head of that cloud division and then a vice president in charge of a few divisions there, both resigning. So Baba below that $100 mark, pretty much exactly where we closed yesterday. And it's really more about, look at the shelf that it's starting to fall off of here, and then this negative catalyst. You're down. We just broke the low of the day, actually. So Alibaba still a ways away from those 70s or the mid 70s that you could have gotten when it made that screaming buy, but now giving a lot of that back and back below 100. And you never want to hear that the CCP's back anything involving the regulators and BABA has usually led to some negative retracements here. So thoughts on BABA?
Now trading at what, 97.20 on near the at the low,
Here goes
actually.
Twitter, by the way.
Twitter upside, downside.
Yeah, upside.
Twitter.
Christine Lagarde coming out and saying premature to talk about quantitative tightening. So that's pretty good. ECB's Lagarde coming out with that. So go ahead. Just want to give everyone an update.
No, well, BABA is underneath that 100 mark, the round number that, typically would be a number to watch. But when we cross it so many times on the upside and on the downside, because we crossed it like 2 days ago, it doesn't bring, it doesn't have the same kind of relevance it did the first time around. So here we are kind of trading 97.20. Where can you catch it? I'm thinking, man, if it was trading at 104, 105, that'd be a great place to go against the 110. But if we're trading 97, where do you go with this? Like, you're going to have to just swing this, not even swing this, you're going to have to just scalp this throughout the day. Let it mark off some new levels. Maybe we get through 95. That opens a new door up for the potential shorts there. But it's going to be tough to trade Twitter, regardless of the movement. Yeah, it's down crazy, but it's going to be a certain type of trade only, and it's going to have to be those quick ins and outs that you work with, because I don't know how you can position up with the chart that looks like this and the stock is trading down here. That's going to be tough to do.
Wow, Dinesh putting the guaranteed $54 mark here for Twitter today. Okay, so on that note, I just got some out there at 58.50. So, sorry, 58, I wish. 48.50. People are saying maybe I'm allergic to red here because we don't want red markets, and I've got on the red hat. So you might be onto something there. I will throw this hat away if I don't feel any better. By throwing it away, I just mean I'll keep it, but I won't wear it again on the show. Okay, so we just got out some of Twitter there at that 48.50. I said 58 again. Let's see if it continues to ride upside. We do have our outs just south of 48, so watch out for that one. I feel like I'm going to get stopped out off the open. There's going to be some sell come in off the open, although the imbalance rate now for Twitter is a 1.3 million share to the buy side. So, yeah, okay, there's that. I also just stepped into Veru. We got this, and again, I was looking at it, and I was like, you know what? It's barcoding down here. Obviously, very similar price to what Arun has. He has a better price down here at 15.20. But we're into Veru now. My first target is going to be out around here, 16 and change, and that's it. I just want to get out of 1/3. Yesterday, Veru. Shout out to Dominic, who was PMing me yesterday, or DMing me, I guess, on Twitter, and I was talking about Veru hitting that $16 high. Congratulations, Dominic, again. I know you're long $5, so that's a great one. Yeah, into here, I think we take this 15.80 out. Then we get into this level, and that's where my first offer is going to be on Veru. I know you just talked about Alibaba, a Chinese name that I've been dealing with all week, which started off bad, but then revenge 2 days in a row, is Neo up here at this $20 level. So I just want to, talk about that quickly. I think we can fade anything here on Neo, especially if we get up to that $20.50 area. But again, the market is just hovering right now. So I don't plan on, knock on wood, sometimes plans don't go according to plan for me, but I don't plan on getting anything too seriously off the open. Let's see where this market goes. But I know we've been saying, Arun, all week that you've been doing an absolutely fantastic job, but I got to give a shout out to Neil as well, filling in for Brendan. I mean, that's a role that is a tough one, especially coming off the desk. So
that's the hardest one, I think.
Yeah, so shout out. I think Valerian's is the hardest job, but a shout out to Neil doing a great job for Brendan there. And I just told Brendan, Neil's stealing your job. So I don't know if that's going to be happening or not, as I see the Dikembe again over there. But not congratulations, but thanks, Neil, for filling in for a great job there. The whole team is back, and then you're going to still promise me you're still at least going to come in for your futures updates.
I'll do my updates, but everyone's swapping around. Neil's going to be here. Tony's going to be the fill-in guy.
Slow down on Tony, man. Slow down on
Tony's ready to go. You guys needed some prime time action.
I still need that contract negotiation.
Well, okay.
We need to slow play this, Arun.
I have no hands in this, so I'm going to say what I need to say.
If you're rookie of the year and you're getting bigged up and all this
Tony
stuff.
knows what he's worth, man. He's a candy man around
he?
here. He knows it. He knows it now.
Oh, God. Then we're all in trouble on that one. But just an update for that. Tony is back, and he'll be back hosting that midday show again today with Ms. V. So that should be a very interesting combo. And then, of course, we'll be sliding in there with some of our other traders and us and back and forth as well. So a big shout out to Tony and a big shout out to Neil, who right now is at the big board.
Thank you there, Sean. I love the trading. Brendan's job, a hard job, but yeah, Tony did a fantastic job. He's not the candy man today. I was actually just taking a peek. He's got the Timbits going, so he's locked and loaded and ready to go. Going to be looking at CRXT today in the small caps. Did make the watch list. They were on a list a couple of days ago by Cantor of pharma firms specifically with higher and increased short interest. So not a particular catalyst here other than that, and you are getting a gap up, but this has already made a run. It did a big run up to $2. It's on the way back down. This last consolidation right here at about 125 to 130 is the high. That's what's interesting to me. There's really no levels till you get to 150, but this is exactly where it's going to consolidate. If it's going to come down, it's got to break that zone, sort of taking out that previous resistance and reestablishing it. That's what you like to see. Otherwise, you need it to short some pops. If it holds that base, it has a decent shot. If volume can start to pick up again, if you were to break the high, you've got your stop at a 125 with about a 145 break, 20 cents worth of risk. And you know there's upside maybe to that too. But you need to see volume come into this one. I don't think it's necessarily a short till it gets below that $1.25 level. It's a holiday shortened week like we said, and all eyes I think are going to be on where the volume is. Of course, Veru is one that you can't avoid today.
Yeah, you definitely can't avoid that. You can't avoid Twitter as well. I think, everyone is looking at Twitter saying, hey, you know what, there could be a potential short. For the exact argument that I made earlier about how there's limited upside and a ton of downside action, potential, everyone's probably thinking the same thing, I would argue. But I think Twitter can surprise a lot of people that actually make a run at the open, because time and time again, this has happened on names like this that have come out like this. I think NASDAQ imbalances just came out because the market is popping up to the upside. Right? Let me quickly do it. Let's bring in NASDAQ and New York. And what do we got if we were to go to the top of the board? We've got Twitter, buy side, and then Apple, buy side, Microsoft, buy side. Big index names throwing in buy side imbalances. It goes to show, somebody was asking, what do you think options expirations is going to do for a day like today? You're going to see it on the board here. You're going to see not buy side action, but unusually large imbalance action in the morning, unusually large imbalance action at the close, and that's going to be it. Midday, I have very little faith that once this market kind of declares where it wants to trade, that we get really get a ton of movement. But for the end and the beginning, this is when the volume needs to be done with especially with options coming through, right? So it just means unusual volume for the beginning and the end. Going into a long weekend, pair that with a long weekend as well. So that's what you're seeing here. That's why you never tend to see Apple or Microsoft at the top of these lists, unless there's some sort of index event. But today's a different situation with the options expiration. All
right, Twitter's going to break right now. It's going to break 48. I'm pretty sure about
Downside?
that. Yeah, it just resisted. There was some sort of an iceberg or something there at 40. Like watch 48.20. It's not going to break it. They were pumping through thousands and thousands of shares. Look at this. See how this is what I mean by iceberg. You see how it's not breaking? There's look at this. There it goes. But there was thousands and thousands of shares just going off there at 20. So the minute that breaks, you get an instant bump up of 10 cents, right? So watch out for Twitter. I just reloaded it. So down there at 17. So now that's my average price actually is 19 now. So we just got another 17 bid. We got a 20 there, out some 40, actually out some 40s and out some 55s right there. And now we'll see if it wants to climb to the high side. I'm with Dinesh here, where I think we can test some of these highs. It'd be great to get back to $51, but apparently, and again, I know we've tasked him with a lot this week, but I see some people talking in the chat that there's going to be a meeting at 10 o'clock for the board, for Twitter board. Yeah, okay, so there you go. So maybe 10 o'clock. And again, if they're meeting at 10, I don't know when they're officially going to say anything about anything, but that's an interesting time frame for me as well. So we'll wait for that, and we'll see what happens. We do have our stop order to get out. We've crossed down a little bit, so hopefully we don't get mangled on that trade. I don't think we will. And just because the NASDAQ's bumping up here, I did cancel my the NASDAQ bumped there, Arun, and then that gave AMD to 99. And then look at this. What just happened to AMD? Like AMD is kind of falling.
3 minutes? Probably AMD had a sell side imbalance because it's 3 minutes, right? That's a 1 minute chart.
That's the bump up right there at 925. So I feel like it started to go at 923, 24, 25, and then maybe that is the sell side to the down. But I canceled my offer thinking that the NASDAQ was rocking and we didn't want to touch that 100. But still, I'm still here at $100, 99.70 if we get that on AMD. So just so you know, that's where I'm offering. I also wrote down on the sticky note here that we liked Facebook I mean, look at Facebook. This short yesterday was just epic, man. We hammered the short on Facebook. Facebook was a #1 stock yesterday. I think these trades all combined, my #1 trade net-wise over the week was yesterday on Facebook. So I looked to go short again, but I just thought if the NASDAQ did tick higher and we took down this 216.50, that would be a level as well. But we're going to let this rock and roll. As Twitter right now, we're rocking here on Twitter. Back up to 48.50. I'm going to take another piece out right there. Bang, right there. A nice little 30-40 cent win there on Twitter as we get out at 57. So let's see if it goes upside now. 40 cent winner. Here goes Twitter, man. Should be a good day with only 30 seconds to go. It's Miss V in the jacket today, looking sharp. So let's get ready to count this down with only 20 seconds to go. My eyes are going to be on Twitter and Rite Aid to start with. We do have Veru, but we have our stops on that as well. So let's hit the countdown right now as we have 10 seconds before we open on this wacky Thursday here, with tomorrow being a holiday. So we only have 4, 3, 2, and Miss V, kill it. All right. NASDAQ fading off early here.
Yeah. Morgan Stanley's trying to figure out what to do around these 86s. Are we getting 86.7? Man, the spread is insane on Morgan Stanley.
Yet.
Yeah, that's exactly why the spread's insane. But it's trying to figure out what to do around these 86s. Are we rallying through or no? Still deciding. We're going to wait for that one to open up. Veru is flat. I mean, I got in at 31. We're trading 30s. We're not going to get out of this one just yet.
Twitter looks like it
RAD looks like it's going to take that 9 out. Remember, we were looking to potentially fade. Not going to be a fade. Maybe that breakout long is going to be the move on RAD.
So they did not mess around, man. They opened up Twitter quickly. So Twitter now open, as far as I can see. I don't actually see any New York books here, actually, but they must be open. I don't know why I don't see any NYB on here at all right now for Twitter. Are we having a New York book feed problem or something? I don't even see them on here right now. It's like Twitter go over to the NASDAQ. But right now, big volume spike. So maybe they're not even open now. There's some ends. I see it now. Okay. So now they're open now. Twitter just dipped back down into 48 before busting up a little bit here. So they're going to watch out for that one. The name I was just looking at was WFC. This is open or not again? I don't know. Some of these trades here, this does not look like it's open with no big print, but they already cracked below that 46 level, Arun, so that's definitely a level to look at. Ford was the name that I wanted to get to. Ford today announcing that their F-150s are on track to be released later this month. So I have a nice area here for Ford. This 1580 level is what we really like. I'm pounding that one long, guys, if we can get it. So watch out for Ford going there. Veru's falling down. We have our levels that we're looking at here for Veru. I don't know if you're out yet or not, but I'm going to look at this 1450 area for that name. But so far, so good here as we wait for Twitter to do something. And then Rite Aid, I want to look at that quickly. I don't know how your banks are doing. Ooh, Rite Aid just takes off there. Yeah. We were hoping to get a lower bid, but nothing yet on Rite Aid.
Yeah, banks, how are they doing? Taking off to the upside. Morgan Stanley now has taken 87, 87.50. We just jumped from 87 to 87.50, and that's $1.72 in the money. And this thing is now that we've got some volume going, it is taking off to the upside. It's looking at 88 now. Okay, Morgan Stanley, this is what it took. Let's get going now because 88 is right there. Oh, no, now we're back through 87.50. So Morgan Stanley with a ton of volatility off the open, but we are sitting pretty right now with $1.40, even with the spread, even with the volatility. Veru coming back in. Obviously, Baba, the one that Neil brought up, is actually falling off.
Twitter is gone right now.
Is it gone to the downside?
Yeah, Twitter's gone to the downside right now. We're going to try a short here in Twitter. Just not many shares here as it's very violent. I think we could probably try to short this thing back into 48 here again, but wow, what a violent name. I'm going to put my stop around this 48.11 or so just to get out in case it does, continue its march to the high side. Ideally, we'd like to try to get a full position right now on Twitter. There it is right there, the dump down in, and then we short this thing right now. So we're going to have to watch out for Twitter right now, just kind of dancing, but I'm going to get another short in here. I'm waiting at 75. The volume is ridiculous on this name. If it takes out, there it is. Now, if it takes out 48 again, then we'll be out of this one, and then we'll just wait. We'll wait for that 10 o'clock. We'll wait to see what's happening on Twitter. But right now, we're going to hold that short until it breaks 48, which looks like it's going to do that again. So very whippy here. We're not putting in big amounts of risk into this name until we do get a good spot. But good trade there on Morgan Stanley, which makes me think, let's go back over to WFC. Really no love right now for WFC. That bottom of 45.50, maybe that holds. So we can look into that again. I'd take it because of the banks seem to be strong, but maybe that 46 is a good little spot to go long back in for WFC, as 46 has been a spot for them. So We can look at that off that 45.50 bottom. Just not sure yet about anything, to be honest with you.
Yeah, as I'm just waiting it out. As Morgan Stanley is now coming back in, we were up at 87.50. Yeah, now we're back at 86.20. So this thing is now coming back in. I am not rushing the exits on either one. Vero was it flipped down out of the money. Now it was up like 40 cents or so. Now back being out of the money as it breaks 15. So we're still going to hold tight on that one. So Morgan Stanley up 43 cents now. Thank you, Valeria. Vero out 43 cents now, opposing each other. And that Ericsson. Okay, Ericsson.
Oh, hell yeah.
Probably a name that no one's paying attention to. But it was on our earnings calendar yesterday. So if you guys watched the afternoon show, we were talking, Ericsson was on that list of names that were supposed to be looked at. And I looked at Ericsson going, man, 9 even looks pretty good, especially off the daily too. And then we're opening below 9 even. So I threw an offer in there as close to 9 even as I possibly could get, $8.99. And we got that fill, and now we're 4 cents in, but it's a $9 stock, so don't have crazy expectations. You just got to be smart about what you're going to do and how you're going to size these positions. But that one is 6 cents in the money already. So we're waiting on Vero to get going. Everything else is doing just fine. Neil.
2 names for you. One, Rivian, Sean, your Rivian breaking out the high of the day. Did get through 41. It's starting to come back a little bit, but just took out that consolidation top. And Bed Bath & Beyond, remember they got the downgrade. They just immediately took out 17 to the downside, heading towards early morning lows at 16.50, where it caught a big bid yesterday's action. So watch out for both of those 2 names.
Okay, so we still want to look at Rite Aid a little bit, but Twitter right now is collapsing. So we have a good trade on Twitter right now to the downside, hopefully. Now 50 cents in the money on that name. I wanted to look at Apple a little bit. No, not the daily. Come on, Sean. The minute chart here for Apple, because the NASDAQ, this is what I hate about these days, honestly, Arun. It's the end of the week here. It's a holiday. Look at the NASDAQ, back and forth. I'm trying to put on a position here, and there goes Twitter, by the way, to the downside. So we are short Twitter, 47.75. It looks like it is coming down. It's collapsing right now. I guess the rumor on the street, man, is I'm assuming that Twitter is going to deny that. And then that means that your boy is selling his shares, Elon Musk. So there we go to the down. Now, this is not, I'm just saying that must be something to do with this move here on Twitter, because now we have $1 in the money on this short. And that's the kind of ability that I'm talking about that we have here. And I hope you have that ability as well to switch it up, man. We were long. Once we lost on the short, then it started to fall back down. We just reversed into that short. So we lost on the long. Oh, did we just get that? No, we did not. We were at 83 there. How low did we go on that move? I should have picked that up at 83. That's surprised we didn't. But let's see another little bit of a flush down into the 80s again. I'm sitting at 83. So let's see if we get that here on Twitter. No reason for this thing to stop, to be honest with you, until... Did it just touch 84 there? Until we get news about what that board wants to do right now. Twitter right now just falling down. I'm going to stay here, Arun, because honestly, I don't have anything else. I don't have any other ideas right now other than Twitter. So let's get another bid out. I'm going to cancel. I just took that bid right now, 97 or whatever that was. 96 we actually got right there. So I missed the 83s by 1 cent. So we'll pay up and get some 96s. I'm just going to hold until 48 breaks. I mean, if 48 breaks to the upside, we're wrong, and we'll go on that. But until the NASDAQ gives me something right now, I don't really have a name that I want. AMD was a great opportunity. It was on my radar. It's on the sticky note right here for that short, but unfortunately, we don't have it. It didn't tick high enough. I was waiting 99 and change. We talked about that. Maybe we fade any kind of a bump up here for AMD, but for right now, I don't really have anything working for me.
As you guys can see from my board, I'm not even trading any of the hot names. Maybe Vero is the hot one, and then banks. But at the same time, I'm not going to get caught up. I know what makes me money, and it's trading specific names, not specific names, but trading specific setups on things that just end up on my radar. And Twitter, knowing the headline risk and all that stuff, and the volatility aspect of it, yeah, it's going to be exciting to trade, but it's going to be a problem to make money because of the way it moves.
I'm shorting AMD
right? So I'm not going to touch this. I'm going to stick with where I am. Ericsson, the one that I try to squeeze in a 9 even short. Already 19 cents in the money, and that takes next to no effort. It's not a flashy name, but it's paying 19 cents for the type of move that you're going to get on Ericsson. That's already a pretty good winner. So I'll stick with these names, and I'm going to stay away from the flashy ones. Neil, what do you got?
Delta breaking out once again, so up now 3.5%. They caught an upgrade, and of course they beat on earnings yesterday as well. Breakout at the high through 42, and into clean waters here. You have 45 on the daily chart, probably the next obvious level as Delta continues its strong 2-day rally.
Okay, we are in a new position right now, AMD. So I was just like, you know what? Let's just put on a short now. We'll start the position. If we get back up to view up, we'll load this sucker right up again, 97.78. But let's just trade this. Now that the NASDAQ has sort of shown its face a little bit here, it was very choppy off the open. We bounced off this 50 period. We took it down. I would have loved to get that short in that name. Wow, Veru, let's go, Veru. Veru is in the building right now, Arun. A nice little move to the upside right here for Veru. And there's my take, man. We just got that out at 16.19 for 1/3. Veru rocking and rolling right now, back up to the upside. So we're going to go, hell yeah, go like that. And then we go like this. Cha-ching, because we take that out. Veru, a nice little move to the upside. And you just talked about that, Arun. Like, we're working with names here, and one of them is Veru, and one of them is also AMD. A nice little move to that downside right here. Let's put a bid in the teens, see if we get something out right now. Just a little bit out as we just touched 97 and then bounce back. You could get some support here in AMD, right? So let's not, count our chickens before they hatch. Let's take out a 30-cent win there as it's coming back down for AMD. I took out 20% there. Let's hold this. Wow, this day she be turning around right now as Twitter now at lows. And we have this name, $1 now in the money for Twitter. So we hit the long, took some money off that long initially, dropped it out for a 30-cent loss. Now we're in that $1 winner for Twitter as this just continues to go to the downside. I'm going to take another piece out here if we can get it. Even lower 60s. Give me those 60s. Yes, sure, there it is. Pigs get slaughtered. But right now we are slaughtering the market in the Raptor red. How's that feeling today right now? As Joel Embiid is going to have a problem with our big man. We don't really have one. Anyways, I don't think he's going to have a problem at all. But let's just hope that's. And Shaq says we're going to get swept. Down with Shaq, but I love Shaq. All right, let's go. Let's keep on going, man. Veru, 50 cents in the money. AMD now touching off 97. Let's take one more piece out. Now, yeah, sub 97 right now, Arun. Woo! Sometimes you need to wait for the day to open up. And when it does, sometimes it's Party Central. And that's what we got. Party on, Wayne. Party on, Garth. Party on, Arun.
Yeah, Morgan Stanley, I got out of Morgan Stanley there. Made some money on it. It did not look good for a quick second there. I was like, man, we took 87 like a bunch of times, and there was a ton of volume coming in. I'm like, for the strength that Morgan Stanley should have had, that was really weak. So we were long 75, and I got out some at 20-something, 20, 25 or 26, around there, so making about 50 cents on half. And then as soon as I was about to get the rest of it, bid just dropped out. So I ended up walking away flat on the rest of it, but we did make at least 50 cents on the first half of this position. So we are walking away with a winner on Morgan Stanley. We've got Veru. Remember, we've been holding on to Veru quite well. And the quiet one, the sleeper, Ericsson, coming out of nowhere. A phone company, well, not a phone, they make more than just phones, but still, Ericsson just coming out of nowhere. $8.99 short, you gotta like that, because that top is $8.99. That is now a 34-cent winner. That's a pretty big winner for a $9 name that barely moves, because if you're wondering what the daily range on Ericsson is, there you go. Oh yeah, now it's halted to the downside. Veru, really though?
Veru? Oh, I just got out of Veru there
I didn't
on
touch
that.
it.
Yeah, big time movement to the down halt right here. Oh, I don't have shortable shares. Damn you, Veru!
Yeah, no, I'm not touching that. I'll let it go again. But we'll let Veru decide what he wants to do.
Shares were shortable that were free on Veru, and now all of a sudden it just tanked to the downside. But just because it came on me, watch out for LEXX. This is also halted to the upside of 25% right now. Just going to try and catch the news on LEXX. They did have a clinical study, delivered positive results. So LEXX on NASDAQ halted up. Veru halted down. Oh my goodness, why didn't I just pay for shorts anyways?
Yeah, just PM me, Neil. Get me some shares of that if you're going to get yourself some shares of Veru. I'm just going to pay whatever the heck it costs. That was embarrassing because, honestly, it's tapping 13 right now. So, I mean, it's like I was...
Oh, that's not good.
Man, I was littering that offer, and I was like, bang, 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 bang. Oh, no shares. So that was fun on that move. But there you go. That's why you get those stop orders in, man, because we got out on that 14.30 break. And remember I told you I just put a 14 offer in, slammed it down there, didn't have to worry, because if I'm still stuck in this, and again, 99 problems, Vero ain't one now because I'm out of it. But, you know, you don't want to be part of that mock open, which right now is 13.25. I just wish I had shares on that one for sure. Here, Neil, I'll just tell you. Yeah, that's good. Yep, that's fine. Okay, so Neil's got me there. All right, so again, another big one though, Arun, right here goes AMD to the downside. So we'll take out more again. Bang, as the market. I mean, I'm sorry about that, Veru, guys. I know a lot of you are long that name, but we talked about it. I gave you my out. We took the out, and now it's whatever. Like, I just made more money on getting out a piece of this right now on AMD than I lost on the whole Veru trade. So we'll see, though. And the good thing about the Veru trade was, sitting right here at those levels. This is why we talk about having to be into a name and have your levels. If you have your levels on these stocks, then, you know, you should be okay. Like, it came up, we only got out of a third. I told you that. We got out of a third up there, and then this happened. Dump City. I don't know if it's an offering or not. Obviously, Neil's getting some shares here, but we will find out what that news is on Veru. Excuse me. Now that Twitter, and by the way, Claritin strong right now. Get some Claritin. And also, if you work for Claritin, hit me up, because I'm not going to advertise you anymore. But it appears to be working, Claritin. As you can see, the energy's here. And look, honestly, I am going to have to get COVID, obviously, to not come in the office. We're here every single day. Arun, myself, Neil, Brendan, Prad, everybody, we absolutely love this job. Obviously, taking vacation is one thing. And we'll see Prad back here, hopefully on Monday. Miss V is in the building, and we are ready to rock and roll. So let's just watch out what's happening here. AMD to the downside, Twitter to the downside. And I do want to get into some Facebook. We shorted that like crazy yesterday. All here, look at this. Look at all these shorts on Facebook, man. 216. You'd be cashing in if we could hold overnight, but we can't. Let's see what happens here. 213.60 on the bottom here for Facebook. I've got two shorts in. How are your positions working out, Arun?
Well, wait, what the hell? Hold on, Sean, give me a second.
Yeah, no problem. I can take it back again. I don't know. Is Valeria into position again? I see Valeria. I see you, Valeria. Valeria going over to where the action is. I like it. I like it a lot. But eeny, meeny, miny, mo, me and Valeria are in the same name. Guess which one it is? And you will find out very, very soon when we do throw back over to her. What am I just getting into here? Rite Aid. Rite Aid is in the building right now. As that comes back in, did that sound work? I didn't hear that, but let's go over to Neil. What's up?
No, just that Lex reopened. We're still waiting on for Veru to reopen, but it opened up above 420. That was a pretty key level in the daily. Watch out for about the $5 level. Of course, you got to put, thank you guys, that $5 level, the next significant area. It did get there in the pre-market very, very briefly, but we're sort of retracing back now. 420 has to hold. This gets back below 4, and it could give up the ghost. Another low float name. BioPharmas, man, these low floats. Any good piece of news, and you're seeing them run this week.
So we take a dime out there on Rite Aid, and let's hold the rest, and then just still try to respect. I'm going to try to respect this 8 bottom. Yeah, buddy. There's an instant win on Rite Aid. Look, sometimes you just got to do the work, man. We talked about that. Put in your work. Wait for your levels, man. Rite Aid came right down to me. I was sitting on the bid. Sometimes you got to have limit orders in there. Arun and I looking at too many names. Just let me know when you're fine. I mean, I'm fine right now, too. What the hell just happened to Twitter right there? A bad print got me long on Twitter, so I got to deal with this.
Yeah, I remember I was getting out of Morgan Stanley earlier. So the half that never got filled because I stepped down, I forgot to cancel the order.
Ooh.
And Morgan Stanley ripping back towards 87.50 and decided that I wanted to fill that position on the way up. And I'm just like, really though? And Veru just opened. Where did it open at? 1385. I got out on the opening print on Veru, which is 1385. So I don't know what it's doing now, but I also don't care anymore. So I'm going to move on from Veru and see if we can't find some other names. But damn it, Morgan Stanley was doing well, and then now all of a sudden now I'm down because of that stupid fill. Always check your orders, guys. You know, even now, I thought I had everything cleared, but no, apparently not. So we are still negative on Morgan Stanley because of this now. Damn.
Oh man, that sucks. Yeah, that's the problem, obviously, when you're trading these crazy names. Okay, so honestly, guys, apologies because it's just our system. Like this. we should still be short, like a dollar change in the money, but we just reshorted it. So what happened there was I got, see this wick right here? That didn't exist, that didn't happen, but my stop order gets triggered, which is ridiculous on these prints, because all of a sudden it sees on the time and sales a D print and says, okay, Sean, your out was 48, which it was. The print just happened at 48.39, so it just buys me my shares back. So unfortunately, we are back into the short. So just if you're seeing like, why is my prices changed so much? It is because of that. So right now we're short 46.85, and I'm gonna take some more out here as we just took a piece out at 70. Yeah, back-to-back 71s there. So again, we're taking a piece out. I'm gonna go a little bit lower on this into the 60s and then see if we do take out that bottom. But my new out is gonna be like just breaking back above 47. I'm not, I don't need to be part of this. I feel like that news is coming out hopefully soon about the deal, whether or not, like if they accept the deal, it halts to the upside and then you're screwed. So you got to watch out for that one right now. That Veru did reopen, although Arun doesn't want to trade it anymore. That's fine. I mean, that makes sense, right? It's broken through. We had one read, so did I, man. I had that one read right there. But now that we've halted to the downside, obviously a scary situation for those caught in it, but it doesn't seem to care either, Veru, right now. Did we find out why that halt happened other than price action? There is news? No news. Okay, so no news. So just price action halt right there.
3 million shares.
Yeah, the volatility.
From the high. From that high to the before it halted, 3 million shares went off the board.
Oh, it's gone off. So not much is what you're saying.
That's enough to take the stock down from 16 to halt. Yeah. If somebody wants to take 3 million shares within that time frame, yeah,
that 3 million shares was is a green candle for some reason. But anyways, yeah, and then another 2.5 million right after it. So yeah, Veru's pumping through volume. That's probably what it was, man. Someone got it up here, either a fat finger or they just said I'm long. Probably Dominic. Dominic, how many shares did you own right there? Selling everything through there. Fill that up, get out, good trade, whoever had that one on Veru short, so good on you for that. Rite Aid right now, guys, like this is exactly what we're talking about. Like look at the trade that we have on board right now for Rite Aid, guys. We're long in the money now, 50 cents on this name, but let's just, oh man, I gotta market this out a little bit here. Okay, we just punched out at 55 a little bit there. But yeah, Rite Aid, oh there we go, and then we just got filled at 58 again. So Rite Aid, the monster that's putting me into a nice little position here on Rite Aid. What a good take that was, back to $8. And again, man, like if you're not on the sticky note, that's great. You don't have to be, but just one more little look here for it. We have this on the sticky note again today. Please follow me, man. 31,000 followers. Sticky note gets a lot of love. Long back to $8. So congratulations right there. If you at least looked at the sticky note, and if the guys behind us aren't doing that, then honestly, there's some good ideas on there. They're not always going to be right, but at least they're ideas. Trade your plan. Don't trade mine. But if you're looking at that, man, we had Rite Aid back to 8. Excuse me, there it is, comes right back into $8 and then boomed it to the upside. So a good little trade there for me on Rite Aid. Other than that, let's just keep looking at AMD. We're still holding that short. That is 71 cents in the money and still ticking new lows here on AMD. Just took down 96.40. I feel like that's not a bad spot to sit at either. Twitter dancing. Ooh, we got long Twitter there on a 47 break. So Twitter's back and forth for me today. Not much action, to be honest with you. Nice move down if you had that short, which we did. We cashed in on that. And right now, I'm just baby long here on a 47 break. So let's see what Twitter has in it. What's up, Neil?
I got a runner here. CXW Core Civic was upgraded to outperform by Wedbush. $17 price target. On the daily, you can see this $12 level getting taken out, up 14%. Hasn't been a red candle on the 3-minute yet for CXW. Also, GALT making a bit of a run to the upside. So strong moves still happening in some small cap names here. And of course, man, that Veru, what an unbelievable trade and reversal that was. Should have been prepared, man. Should have had those shorts.
Talk about strong moves. There's strong moves across the board here as the futures now breaks through 44.30. I'm looking for shorts. That's why you see my equity board is one name, Ericsson, which barely moves with 30 cents in the money. But I am now positioning in, trying to get my hands on some future shorts here. If we can just get a bounce, I don't want to pay 30. So they might force my hand. If we break 20 and into the 15s, they might force my hand. I'll step down, but for the time being, I'll see if I can grab some 40s or somewhere close to 40 on the short side, work some shorts there. Regarding Veru, remember when I got in, I said 15 and change. I'm looking for the hold, see if we can't get an upside move, and I held for the most part. But at the same time, I'm not going to hold it forever. As soon as we break through that 14 and I see that the opening print is going to be south of 14, I'm out. I'm done. That was my read. That was my trade. Thank you very much. I'll take my hit, walk away, and find something else to trade. But that's my one read there. And then obviously you see the Morgan Stanley mess, right, which was the great long exits, and then accidental short that ended up getting out right near the high, of course. So that didn't work out well. But futures is where I'm going to put most of my money and my equity. I'm also looking, while I'm doing that, I'm also looking at index names. So I'm thinking now Apple on the short side as well. Apple just breaking through, it kind of squeezed through that 171, put in some stops there, as high as 171.27, no, not 27, 43 I think it was. 171.27 was the high on Apple. And now I'm thinking, hey, you know what? Maybe we can actually get back into the short side on Apple, because Apple is good around that 171. We just kind of cracked some stops above it. So now with the market breaking and Apple taking off that 170, we could open the door for some shorts. So that's what I'm looking at. Maybe some index
that
names.
Apple short. Good call.
Yeah, there you go.
We just got into a new position, and it's Facebook short right now. So we'll play that. We just got into it twice. We're looking at that 213.50 shelf there to break that to the long side before we're wrong. But I did hear Ms. V. What's up?
Hey guys, we've got a super chat from Dominic Familara bringing us two tickers, ATER and CRXT, which one is from our watch list. But guys, maybe we'll take a look at that ATER, 16% short interest and 56 million free float on that name.
Yo, what's up, Dominic? I didn't realize those were dogos. Those are some sick dogs. I thought it must be the Argentinian dogo, because I have a friend that has an Argentinian dogo, and it's white, and it's beautiful, and it's huge, and it's, so if those are dogos, man, those are awesome dogs. Obviously need to be trained up, but dogos, great dogs, and thanks for that super chat there, Dominic. ATER, okay, we'll look at that. Let's have a quick look on that. $6, rocking 18 million shares today. ATER, nice little move. Ooh, we got some nice levels from yesterday. 1660 looking like a juicy spot there. What did we do today? So we baselined, ooh, okay. Okay, good. Thanks for this name, Dominic. Right into here, 550. You get a pullback. This reminds me of Veru, actually, where you have bottoms that you can try to respect. So if you're into ATER, again, you know, if you break through this, I mean, I guess you can hold it all the way to 5, to be honest with you. This little shelf here at 470, I think if you break 5, you get back down to 470 there. So I'd watch out for that. Some consolidation back in here. If you're looking to get long ATER, I would do it into this area. I know Fahad is in this name as well. So maybe I have to throw to him and see what he's thinking about it. But a nice little move there. Again, this is the satellite launch. So some successful launches recently, a nice little move to the upside. There was talk about, again, Elon, I believe anyways, and SpaceX taking a look at ATER. But nice move to the upside. I feel like there's some consolidation here around 5, so a good pickup. I'd hold if I were you guys. It looks like we're going to take out $6, and after that, 640 probably coming through. If I did have some shares, like usual, that 640 would be a good spot for me to take some out, but ATR on everybody's mind, it looks like. Rite Aid, man, just still ticking higher. And we just tweeted that out, man. Thanks for everything on this one. This was a good call for me, $8 long. We have a couple decent calls today. Let's get something out if it gets up to 880. We'll take another piece out for that one. But Facebook right now is starting to run a bit. It's right at that level that we were talking about. And actually breaking higher. Look, I don't want to be like caught in this name, so we have to have some levels here that we're going to try to respect. And honestly, a break up here, you know, of this little bottom, that's where I'm going to say that's enough is enough. We're not going to be, you know, into this name forever. It is working still to the downside. The market's bumping up a little bit. I'm not going to reload here. My next reload spot is actually right near VWAP. So if we can get this near that 214 level, just double checking that is where it is. Yeah. So it's 213.90 right here is where we're trying to get some more shares if it does go back up. I'm trying to be very, very patient. And I was talking with the wife yesterday, Arun, and it was actually, you probably don't talk to your wife about trading, but I'm a maniac, and thank you, and I love you, Marissa. And I was just saying, you know what? I really like this kind of new style of trading, whereby, and again, thanks to you and Neil and Brendan and everybody, we're all trying, and to our viewers, we're all trying to, you know, learn as we go. But trade levels, man, and you don't. there is a point of scalping. Like I've averaged into Facebook right now. So if this can come back down into here, I will take something out if we come back to these bottoms for sure. But if you do have a larger time frame and it's only 9:58 right now, this market can go either way and you want to be part of it, right? If the NASDAQ does come in 2% today, you want to have some shorts on. And if it does rip up, we have some outs. So, you know, we can be aggressive on both ways here as long as you're properly managing your positions, you have your ins and you have your outs, then trade your plan. Don't let your plan trade you. You know what I mean? Get your orders in there, execute, just like that Rite Aid. We did the work. We sat down here. Arun and I both talked about fading 9. That would have worked perfectly. It's more like around fading 10, but that was good. And I also talked about going long 8. So you sit there, you get Merry Christmas all the way to the upside. We're out of 70% of Rite Aid, and I'm working right now. I'm not worried at all about AMD as holy crap. I'm going to take another piece out. This is what I'm talking about, Arun. AMD. I don't mind taking out some profit here. Bang right there as AMD goes to the downside. Just continues to go tick, 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 boom. And another name that we have on here, can it be your trade of the day again? AMD short all over the sticky note. That's what we're talking about. Looking to get short AMD. Well, we found a spot to get it, and now we're going over to Neil. What's up?
Yeah, we got the conference call going on for Goldman Sachs, and CEO Solomon said the bank's well positioned to achieve growth targets. I think more importantly, buybacks in Q2 will be reasonably consistent with those seen in Q1. So there was, buybacks obviously a big part of what's going on for rising prices of some of these stocks recently. Goldman bouncing back off of those highs when the call started. It took out the high and then all the way back down to pre-market lows here. Still up on the session, but the call obviously weighing on some investors here.
Yeah, going back to what you were saying, Sean, talking to the wife about trading. Yeah, no, I learned early on that's not something I want to do.
That's not something.
Not something I want to do.
I got you.
So I don't bring that up at all. Once I'm done here, there's no trade talk at all, actually. This is whatever I do here stays here, and that's about it. So here we are, kind of just holding on to Ericsson. That's the only equity position I've got left. I am looking for a futures position, as I mentioned, but I'm not going to price it at 30. I want it higher up. So if this market has some juice to the upside, maybe back towards 40, 45, we'll start getting in. I'll start at 40, actually. So if we can get some movement to the upside, that'd be very helpful so I can actually start building some futures positions. Because as you guys know, that's kind of how I do things. I don't see the day as the next hour or the next 5 minutes. I see the day as it's 10 o'clock. I have 6 hours to work a trade. Yeah. So I'll take all day to work a trade if I need to. So it's one of those things where I'll just position inside of a certain range and then we'll walk away from it. At the end of the day, usually by the end of the day, I'll have my answer if it was a good read or a bad read. But 6 hours to make a move, I'm not in a rush to get it going in either way.
6 hours.
So 6 hours. Hey man, I started one futures trade.
Right.
I started one futures trade at 8 a.m. and I never got out until 4:15. And it was one of those trades.
I saw your CrowdStrike yesterday. I saw your futures trade the day before. And that's what I was saying about respect to Arun, because when you get your ideas in there and, you have your levels, and that's what you got to go with, man. And I mean, net over net, like we get paid here on a prop firm. Obviously, we get paid every month. But whatever happened yesterday, today's a new day and you do have all day. And that's why, we sit in some of these positions and it's like, I scalp out. Look, I mean, I'm a scalper. You got to stay true to what you are. And that's what Arun's doing. Neil has his different trade style as well. We all have a different trade style. So, I mean, that's the best part, in my opinion, about what we're doing here on the show for you. Not only do we do that, but we also talk about investments. Shout out to anybody that went Nucor long with me. I cannot believe I'm long $95 on this name. Nucor on a daily has just been do. Like we just got this in January at $90, $95. So obviously a stock like PaySafe we're getting destroyed on, but you put a little bit more money into solid companies. Nucor ripping 166. Wow, I cannot believe what's happening with Nucor, but we can't leave Neil over there at the big desk, or actually at the big screen now. Let's see what's happening now with Neil.
What's happening now is we have the NASDAQ leading the way to the downside, 0.76%. The Dow is what is strong. It's up 0.5%, at least for now. We do see the S&P down about 0.25%. Overall, crude oil still down only about 1.25%. Has been reversing after the last couple of days, and we have crypto down 1.5%, 1.8% for Bitcoin and Ether, respectively. Individual names, obviously we know Twitter has been the big story. It's still holding up 3% after Elon said he wants to buy 54.20. Of course, he picked that number, but hey, it's a take it or leave it offer. And if they leave it, he wants to leave as well. So that's why they're under some pressure. Veru, huge turnaround that we talked about here. They had the positive news on their drug recently, but hey, what goes up fast can come down fast. When it couldn't take out that high, halts to the downside, it's trying to recover above 14 right now. And lastly, we've been talking about the trading banks, Morgan and Goldman, a lot, but Wells Fargo, now down 6%, just took out the day's low. They missed on revenue, but their loan losses, setting aside $1.1 billion for loan losses, $200 million more than what JPM did just yesterday. Wells getting absolutely hammered today in today's trade.
Oh, that was the one that we wanted, or I wanted anyways, was Wells Fargo short through that 46. New position alert right now, Ford. So we're into Ford right now. We picked up those, oops, you can't see that, that's a minute chart. Here's my minute chart. We picked up those 71s on a little bit of a pullback down in. We did already, I mean, I wish I would have saw this. Honestly, right back to the 50 period and then bar-coded right there. Yeah, come to the screen here, Fahad, if you can. There he is. I can't believe we missed that position right down here. Came back in. Obviously, look, I'm happy as, whatever. We've got Facebook, we've got AMD. We were looking at other names. But, yeah, that Ford dropped right back into this level. That would have been pretty sweet, man. So we'll take a 70 break, thinking that we are, as the futures are starting to go back up, I'm going to sneeze again here, trying to take down this 1580. That's really the level that we like. I'm going to get these out at 78 because 80 is a level that I'm willing to punch long a lot of shares. So we're going to watch out for that. If 78 breaks, if it comes up to 78, we're going to get out of that one. But right now, Ford working. We're long 71 here. Decent amount of shares. Let's take them out. Let's take them all out at 78, then punch the long 80 if it does go back up. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Our Facebook trade, we were just in the money, like decent, because we did reload that right there. But as you can see, it's starting to go back up to the upside. This is a good spot for me to get some more short as we're right at that 50 period. I'm sitting here, but I'm sitting at 90. I don't want to miss it, so I'm just going to punch short right here. There you go, I got the 90s. So we're averaged into that Facebook short, not the Ford short. We're into the Facebook short right now. If it takes this level out right here, 214.60, 214.70, then we'll be out. It'll be a hit, man. It'll be about $1.30 worth of a hit here on Facebook. So willing to take that hit. There's the average in. Let's see if the futures can dump a little bit here. What is our AMD doing? See? Maybe I just shorted Facebook when we shouldn't have because AMD is not retracing back up at all. The NASDAQ is continuing its downward move. I really hope we didn't pick the wrong one here again on Facebook. Yesterday was great, but we had to wait for it until it got up here. So let's see what's happening. Just a quick check back in on Veru. Still not doing much. That 1320 bottom was fantastic. But again, maybe a break of that 1450 is something you look for. Here we go. Now Facebook's starting to get jiggy with it, Arun. Good reload on that short.
Yeah, I was close to getting a fill on the damn futures too. Oh man, I was trying to get some contracts on the move up on the futures into the 40s. We didn't get. We're a couple ticks off, but never got a fill, and now it's already south of 25. Ooh, baby. This is not good. I'm gonna have to, man. I really wish I could have gotten that fill. Damn it. Okay, so we've still got Ericsson on the short side, so that's 42 cents in the money for a $9 name. I'll take it as the futures takes off to the downside. That hope of getting that fill is going out the door. So I'm probably going to have to step in and pay lower now.
Yeah, this market
given
is
how
just,
this market's going. Quick update, though. Let's just do a quick update on the futures, not on the S&P because I talk about that all the time, but the NASDAQ. NASDAQ down 1% now to the downside. Oh. But let's not forget.
What the hell? I don't need
Let's not forget, NASDAQ, we were thinking about a range on the short side, that 14.3 up to 14.5 potential range for shorting. Essentially shorting opportunities as the market now takes out 44.20. Market had a ton of space to the downside with that range. As long as we can get to 14.3 to 14.5, there's an option. What do you get? The high is 96, 14.296. I mean, you're gonna have to put up some risk to take the shot on the short side. But at this point, you know, if you missed it, you missed it. But like I did, I could not get the fill on that second bounce, though. So I am waiting to get fills. I'm probably going to end up stepping down. So this story's not over. Given how this market is moving, this is surprising for a day before a holiday. This is a lot more movement than I would have expected from a market like this. So we are waiting for this one to actually either now break through 20 and 15. So I'll step down. If you force my hand, I'll step down and through that 20 and 15, or that bounce into the 40s still on the table. I'm willing to take that shot if we can actually get it. But for the time being, it does look like there's going to be downside momentum as NASDAQ now down 1.1, ES almost 0.5% going into a long weekend. I've seen some crazy things happen on long weekends. You would think that it's going to be a sell into the weekend type of situation. I've seen some buys too. So this story is definitely not over, but it does look like the morning is going to be a sell side move to start.
Oh, shit, as they say. Look at Facebook. It is exploding to the downside, man. What a good reload. And this is what I'm talking about, man. Being patient right there, man. We just reloaded this thing at 213.90, man. And now our short, our average price is 213.55, and we can just watch this thing absolutely collapse as there goes AMD. I just tweeted it out as well, man. And I said, shout out to Sticky Note Nation right now as AMD, ooh, I got to put this back up to 100 right there. Sticky Note Nation as we continue to make a move to the downside right now. Tick, 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 tick. Boom goes AMD. Shout out to Sticky Note Nation and everybody that's out there as well. Look at this, man. Here goes Facebook. We did take another piece out. Ooh, I did not get righted. I thought we got righted out. We didn't. I was trying to take it out there on that break right here of 44. We must have missed it. So let's put another order out and get out on a little bit here. But wow, there goes Facebook, man. Arun, I just talked about that, man. Like I just talked about it, talked about my wife, talked about new trading strategy, talked about holding on for a little bit longer. And then it's reward central right now for that play as boom. Wow, there it is, man. $2 in the money right now for AMD. $2 in the money for AMD. $1.40. We just got another tick down there, right there. $2.15, $2.12.50 right now for Facebook. $1 in the money for Facebook. $1.80 in the money for AMD. Man, this has been a very, very good day. And I got to give a big shout out here to Tony. I don't need these, and I'm going to give them back to him. But Tony just went out and got me some hauls. You know, that is, oh, Neil will take one. So, okay, so we can open these up, but thank you to Tony. Just to tell you guys, like, what kind of a guy this is. This is why, man. The minute I met Tony, I was like, we got to get this guy involved. There it is. Thank you so much, Tony, for that. So there's some nice hauls right there. I'm feeling pretty good. We've got the water going on right now, and we've got Neil at the big desk.
They're good for your voice when you got to talk all day long, whether you're feeling ill or not. But Tony's the best, man. HPK, they got a Kramer bump, and we talked about this as a breakout yesterday, not just because of, I guess, Kramer mentioning them, but 26 did break a double top yesterday. You had a double top again in the afternoon at 30 that got taken out this morning. It's reversing off those highs now, but this is a multi-day runner. Now on another break, up 10% and just made a fresh high. So 30 break looming. Watch for that to be some support on the way back in here. HPK, high peak.
All right, I'm just trying to figure out what to do with these futures. It makes it so much more complicated when I didn't get the price that I wanted, because now I'm kind of stuck trying to take prices that I really don't want to take because they're just too far out. So what I'm thinking right now in the futures, because that's why I'm not taking anything else on the equity side. That's why I didn't take Apple. That's why I didn't take all these other positions that I could have, because I want to focus most of my capital here. So I'm thinking this actually shouldn't be here. This actually should be higher up. 15. Now we bounced off of 15. We're getting that bounce. I'm looking at 15 as the inflection point. If we get underneath, I got to get aggressive and start stepping down to get these shorts, because I do think this market has a ton of space to the downside. But we need to get through that 15 and stay underneath 15, at which point I'll start offering in. Remember, my top end risk is 65, so I don't risk more than 40 points or so. So I'm probably going to be looking mid-20s to work some shorts in if we end up taking out 15. If we bounce right off that 15, I'm okay with the short, but I would price it higher than 40. So it's a tricky situation, because if it bounces from here all the way to 40, then is it even a short anymore? That's the question I have. So at this point, given how it's moved, it's got to break 15 for me to kind of continue on with the short read, because I've been essentially looking at the short read from the time we popped through that 55 and came back down through 40. I was like, okay, now's the time. Let's put some offers in. No fill, no fill, no fill. And then this was our chance, but we'll have to move on. Leave the orders there. What do we got here? A couple stocks that actually broke through. Win. Is really, oh, that was from the pre-market. Okay, win taken out 74.50 to the upside, kind of, but it never followed through. So we're not going to take that one. We're going to leave that one alone. Marvell looking at 62 even. That's an option that's on the table here for the short side. So Marvell looking like it wants to take a look at 62 even. So I might open up the shorts there. Given how much I have to wait on the future side of things, I'll have to look at Marvell for a 62 break and see if we can actually get a move back down towards 60 even. So keep an eye on Marvell around 62, win, and then Apple, of course, has broken that 169.5. Remember, if you take that Apple short, you got to pick and choose, right? If you're going after the index, it doesn't make sense to take another risk on the index stock itself. That's why I chose not to do it. But if you go after Apple, you got to put in that high north of 171 as your stop, because 171 was the level we were looking at since yesterday. So the fact that it actually finally broke through and rotated down with the NASDAQ going negative as well, not just negative, but off that resistance level, yeah, I think Apple's got a ton of space. NASDAQ definitely has a ton of space. Futures S&P has to get through 15 for me to now start chasing this, because if we bounce off 15, it's we could actually go back to the highs if we actually stay strong at 15. So we'll just back off a little bit, wait for this market to decide what it wants to do at these lows, and we'll come back to it if we end up going back through that 15 area.
Throw down a halls again. Thank you so much, Tony. I just I got to give you some advice. You know, you bring the halls to the contract negotiation. You know, but good. Thank you, Tony. Again, so kind of you to do that. The thing about it is here, our weather is nuts. Like, I think today it's going to be like 17 or 18. What was it, like minus something on the weekend? It's nuts here. This weather these last couple of days. I love it, though. I mean, I'm going for walks when we're done the show, you know, just freshen up a little bit. And it's beautiful outside. So if anybody's in Toronto, gorgeous. I love it. Okay, so we got a little light. We got out of half of our forward position there because, again, it was 1571 we were long at. Thought it was maybe going to break down lower there on that crash in the market. Not crash, but breaking through there, heading down to 14,000. So I did get out of half there for a 3-cent hit. So are we get 68 or 69? Let me just double check just so I can tell you guys. 68. So 3-cent hit on the way back down. I am trying, I'll reload this thing if it gets back in. I'm not going to respect that level. I'm going to try to get it back into here. So if we do come back in, which it looks like we're trying to do right now on Ford, let's see if we can get this around this 1550 level. So I do have a bid in here somewhere, 58 to be exactly, right in the middle there, if we can get that. And then if we drop below 50s again and start to work our way back down, then we can just get out. I mean, I'm not trying to be a hero on this, and I know it doesn't make any sense to get out near 50, but again, you have option eligible levels, things like that. So I'm just going to sort of hang my coat on that and see what happens. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm going to put it a little bit lower in case this market really does flush down. There's no reason for Ford to go up today. It's at the level that we thought it was at, that we thought it would get to. It just didn't break through, right? If the futures were going upside, this would already be through. We'd have our nice little win on board, but we don't because it's not happening. So again, this is part of the new Sean, and that is that look at Facebook right now, getting to the downside as we are elevating that name as that's continuing to go to the downside. But what I'm talking about here is we can be patient for trades. That's why we dumped that. We're just in a small amount now. Let's see what happens for this name. If it can come back into 50-ish, maybe this bottom, 54, 55, that's where we'll take Ford, and then we'll work it from there. But that's Ford. Those are the price targets I'm looking for. $1.80 in the money as AMD back down to the low of the day. And then Facebook just dancing a little bit here. But we already have some great outs here for FB. So if it does get back upside, we do want to re-short this name. But for now, I'm just going to work with what I've got, as they say. At AMD, short, Facebook short, RAD long, Ford long.
Yep, I've just got the one. We're going to sit on that one until I can get my hands on the futures. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to consolidate all my capital into the futures positions that I'll be taking, so we're not going to take any more risk unless it's crazy obvious what the risk reward is on a trade. A couple names that are breaking apparently are GFS. Damn, is this Gordon Food Service?
Global Foundries.
Global Foundries. Yeah, Global Found. Okay, semiconductor. So I don't even know what the name is, but damn, the chart on this one looks solid. 62 or not 52.
Oh, it's breaking lower.
Yeah, 52 after taking out the lows from mid-February, it looks like, or late February. That looks, I don't know. This is one of those things where I'm like, this looks so good towards that 50 area. So I'll keep a close eye on this and how it trades through 52. I mean, it did move quite aggressively to the downside. I mean, like, most of this movement is from 55 in about 10 minutes, and then we went sideways, and then another 10 minutes gets us from 53 to 52. Yeah, it does seem like it's quiet. What's the volume, actually? That's a very good question, because this seems unusually 300,000. Okay, never mind.
I love when we talk to ourselves like that. That's exactly.
No, thank you.
Me and you do the same thing there. It's like, well, let me just check out the volume here. What is the volume and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, see again. Hit your checklist, man. Make sure that certain things are coming off. Like, you don't want to trade names that nobody else is looking at because you may not get the follow through, right? So if the volume's not there, I tend to be with Arun as well. Stay away, and I know that's something that Neil, obviously, as we build out some of the watch lists and things like that, we're looking for volume names that are moving. We're doing the pre-market scan for you. Watchlist.tradertv.live, at tradertv.com for the sticky note. It was a call for somebody. I'm going to go Ms. V because that's who I prefer.
Thank you, Sean. And there is another mover right now, TRVI, is up around 17% after its major shareholder bought another 3 million shares and now owns around 10 million shares in TRVI. So we can check out that name. And guys, while I'm here, please make sure you like this video. We have 6,000 people watching, 1,200 likes. Please help us to get 2,000 likes at least by the end of the show, as today is the last trading day of this week and markets will be closed tomorrow. Back to you guys.
TRVI, you say? I pulled the level 2 up.
What?
TRVI, it's up. I mean, it's up, what is it, 12%, 12.5%. This is going to be tough to trade. It's done 1.1 million shares, but man, this is going to be tough to trade just based on what the level 2 looks like. A 3-cent spread on a $3 name? What? Why? So I don't know about this one. It is moving up. Obviously, the trend has been from 290 up to 330, but this is going to be a very tough one to get shares in and out of. So I'm going to stay away from this one.
All right. These hauls, pretty good. Thanks, Tony, for that one. I didn't think I needed them after all. Okay, so Facebook, just looking at Facebook, we reloaded at that level again. Comes right back up to the 50 period. So it's basically the same trade that we made right there. We're reloading. I mean, we got out of this position, so allowed us to reload this name. And again, I'm trying to tell you, what percentages I'm getting in, what percentages I'm getting out. We do have half a position on right now for Facebook, so I'm waiting for another bump up to basically the same level again. If we can get back up to 214 and change, maybe a little bit higher than that, maybe into here, because my out is going to have to be around that 214.50 area. We've talked about that right here, 214.60. So on that note, wow, that reload might have worked again there at 50. Let's see if it comes back down in. I'm going to take another piece out here. And again, this is just what I'm doing, right? Like, trade your book. But like, when I get shares and I get some, part of it is a little bit of not greed or anything like that. It's just when you grew up scalping, been doing this for 20 plus years right now, I am going to take a little bit of profit when I see it. And again, these are volatile markets and volatile names. So I thought I'm sitting there, I would go at 22, so right there. Like, and again, I said I had a half position. So whether or not for you that's 100 shares, 50 shares, whatever, if you take some out on the way back in, then you don't have to be completely right on all of your trades. You can just scalp back and forth. Now, again, I understand that our fee structure is going to be completely different than many of you. We actually get paid to do that trade. Like, so I'm sitting there and I actually use ARCA most of the time. I'll sit there with my ARCA bid. Every time I get hit, if I'm trading 1,000 shares, they pay me $2. So unlike Interactive Brokers or somebody like that, which would charge you $3.99 a trade, $4.99 a trade, Robinhood free. They're all obviously our discount brokers as well. So when you're looking at that, understand that if you do have Robinhood or you do have Wealthsimple here in Canada, or you're just trading, there's other names here, but there we go, I'm done. There are other names here, but make sure that you can scalp. So if it's a trading style that you like, getting in and out, make sure you double check your fees, and something that you're able to do is to scalp in and out like that. But if not, then yeah, hold out, wait for a little bit longer trade here, back down in.
Back through 16.
I still believe. What was that, Veru?
Veru back through 16.
Oh my God, Veru right there. It's going to halt to the upside.
Yeah,
but let's go over to Neil quickly.
Oddly enough, that's the name I was going to lead with here. Veru making a strong move to the upside, halting upside like we just mentioned, or just Sean just mentioned there. It tried to spike 16.50 earlier on. It then came right down into pre-market support at $15. That was a nice consolidation buy right into the high of the day. Held on to some, no reversal because didn't pay for shorts. That is an obvious reversal. Just you got to be ready with the locked and loaded pay for shorts. Tried twice off 14 short, got to 13.50. When it took out 14, gave it up. And then that reversal level at 14.60, tried that short, it then broke out. So we're retesting high of the day. If we open up and get through that, $20, that seems like the obvious level to me. Clearly, it's got some pretty good trading action for it, just about anybody, regardless of style. We talked about Dolphin. They reported earnings, and apologies, these are shorts, but I have to fix the charts. These are kind of Brendan's default, but the purple, these should be purple, selling at that 450 into a 420, just reloaded at that 450. It was a double top, consolidation lower type of play. If it takes out this 65, next top 5 or 520 for DLPN. Last one here is that CRXT. It was a breakout at 150 right before the open. We talked about this one as a breakout play. It only got to that 60 to 65 area, and then I stopped out break even. Bad decision. Retook that high up to 165. If it can maintain that new support at 140, there's room on the daily chart to at least $2 for CRXT.
There is
Yeah,
for everyone who held on, because I did not. Good job, because there was nuts. I want no part of this anymore. No, thank you. This has been more than exciting for me. I'll stick with my Ericsson 44 cents and see if I can grab a futures position. But there is interesting to watch, fun to watch, of course. But the movement is just absolutely nuts because the volume that's coming through, and it's just kind of. I saw it. I was like, oh, is that 15? Oh wait, it's at 16. It's halted at 16.34. Really? That's how fast it's moving right now because bids are moving apart or offers are just getting run over. In that last push through 16, 800,000 shares from pretty much from 1575 right until we halted. So yeah, that's going to be the kind of market you're dealing with on Veru. For anyone who's still playing that game, hey, good job. Because right now projected open on Veru based on what we have so far, 1634
is where it closed.
1634 with 146,000 shares to print. That's the expected open. Of course, this changes. Remember, the reason why we even have this is because it's called the theoretical auction price. Anytime you put those on open tags, there's a specific behind the scenes. There's a specific data packet that has that information, and that can be sent out if you have access to it from the data center. And then our firm has that, so we've just programmed that right into the software, which can show you, hey, it's going to open roughly here with this many shares. But again, it's a moving number because the closer you get to open, more people are sending those specific order tags, right? So this will change, but right now, 1633 with 136,000 shares is what the print is looking like.
There's another name. Uh-oh, I'm going to sneeze again. A second. Yeah, don't go to me if I'm going to sneeze, bro. Go to somebody else. Okay, but I think I'm fine right now. Like I'm gonna sneeze, just like sneeze. Okay, so this 1440, someone, this Lex, I don't know if we've brought news about LEXX, but again, 20 million shares, a nice little move upside today, up 25%. I see you guys talking about it in the chat. A nice little base down here at 325 or so. This is the 20-minute chart, what it looks like right here, down to 270, 280, 293 bucks. So there's some nice little bottoms there, and if you push it over a little bit, you can see the day that's had today is up and down, but there's that 440. So I was debating, taking a little look at that. It's wicked higher today on that, but I'll take a little bit of a break here. If Lex does break 440, we'll be into that one. I guess this is news on net Lex. What's up, Neil?
To come back to the news on Lex, of course, they got pulmonary hypertension clinical study delivered positive results. Also, Lexaria, the name of the company there, positive results. I think we brought it a little bit earlier, but a strong move for them. Just keep in mind, this is just another one of these biopharma smaller cap, low float names making some runs. So trade with caution. You've seen what can happen with Veru.
All right, I'm just watching this. Like, I had no expectations for Eric when I took it. But man, Ericsson is doing quite well right now, almost down 10% on the day, and I've got essentially 5% of that move. So we're up 52 cents on a $9 name. So here we are. Is that 5% of that move? 50? No. But anyways, I got 52 cents on a $9 name, which is huge. And I got a top fill. That's always nice when you're right at the top and you get that fill. So here we are waiting on Vero. Is Vero going to open soon? That's the question. Oh, there it is.
What, Vero's closed?
1639 is the opening price. And it's about to take 17, looks like.
Ooh. Here's that 17 level on Vero. We talked about that yesterday coming through. Yeah, there it goes. It's just going to rip through 17 here. I think that's probably worth a buy through that 17 level if it hasn't gone already. Let's put a bid out there. I mean, we could fade out here and then miss this trade and or not go up at all. But we'll take a little bit of a bid here through 17 if it goes. And then we'll just try it. I mean, that halting price was 16 and change, so there it is. So now we are long Vero through 17. Let's see if it works, man. I don't mind if it halts to the upside. That'd be pretty nice. But there goes Vero. Yeah, Betty. A nice little win here for Vero. Up to 38, up to 34. Here we go, Vero. We've taken a couple pieces out there. Let's see if it halts again. It doesn't take much for this name to halt one more time. Vero to the upside. I give a big shout out to Dominic there. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Talking about Vero is the next Longeveron. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you call these things. That's the problem. Is I always see Dominic, and I'm not calling you out. It's just there's so many names like this every day that everybody brings to us. It's like, how do we know which are the ones? They all sort of frame out to be the same, but there goes Vero again. Like, what a good opportunity it was from today. 13 up to 17, like a ridiculous move. We did get out of 40% there. So, hey, if this thing falls down again, we do have our spots to get out, basically right here, 1630. So here it comes, coming right down again. So I may wind up losing on this, even though we did have that 40-cent win on Vero. Here it comes screaming back to the downside.
Yeah, it's slowing down now. All about the buy wave has calmed down a bit. Sells coming in, maybe profit taking coming in as it backs off.
Who
but
knows?
We've seen this one, right? When it catches a buy wave, it just rips up, takes off to the upside. Apart from that one 3 million share cross down earlier that took it to the down halt, which I got out on, it's pretty much been like this, even off the open. It was a massive cross to the upside that took 16 and then failed back down. And then here we are through 17, looking at 17. There's about 10,000 shares out there. So there are some shorts coming onto the board. You can see it here as they go through Batson, Arca, and whatnot. So definitely some shares coming through here on the short side up in this area. What I got to watch out for is, given how we traded this 16 through 16 half area, you got to say, hey, you know what? You got to hold 17. Because if you come back underneath 16, what happens? Then there's a lot of longs above the highs that are going to be waiting. But it does look like it's got strength. It's picking up some steam. Back towards that high we go, north of 17. Nope, not yet. We're going to flirt with 17, it looks like. But I'll keep an eye on this one. And 16 has to be the exit point, I would think, if you've got the long. I mean, you know what? I shouldn't even say anything. I'm not in it. So I'm just going to stop talking about it.
So I have the long.
Yep.
And I put my offer at 16 to get out. So there
okay,
you go.
so
if it breaks down through 16, I'm out. I already put that in even before you mentioned that. So I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention because, great minds think alike. We took that level. But again, for us, it's kind of obvious. I mean, you just look at levels. Look, I don't want to be part of this move down. And again, it just depends on how many shares you have. If you're willing to sort of cowboy it and hold these things, then yeah, man, this thing could be 25 bucks. Honestly, I'm not trying to make a call, but it's only 10:30. We've seen this name go nuts. It's already up from 13 up to 17. Why can't it go $4 more, break that 20, and then after that, it's up there and it's in no man's land once we get through the 17 and hold it, like you mentioned, Arun. But to me, it looks like we are having, not looks like, I mean, it's pretty obvious, it's having a hard time here at that 17. So I feel like there is another test coming to the downside. Unfortunately, I will remain disciplined and get out if that does happen. It is what it is. Okay, Rite Aid, again, we're almost out of this name. So now it's coming back down to that $8. Let's see if this is something that it wants to hold. We did have a nice little move to the upside. I'm thinking just get out when we break through 8, take a 10-cent hit on it, and then regroup if it goes lower into the 750. So that's going to be my play for Rite Aid. I'm already looking. I already do have bids down here. We talked about getting long into here at the open. Fortunately, we got this tick all the way back up to the upside where we took 60, 70, 80 cents on everything. Not on everything, but on a big spot of it there. Every time you say something, I get nervous.
I say, because Vero's getting...
Vero's getting lower. Yeah, I see it. So Vero's getting lower. Was that a call from Miss V?
No.
No, okay. Right now, no reload on...
they need to catch a bid here.
Yeah, well, you want to look at Vero? Okay, let's look at...
No, yeah, I'm just saying, as they get closer to that 16 even, there needs to be a bid that gets caught somewhere between here and 1550. Else it's going to be a problem because This should catch a bid given the amount of action we saw in the pre-market up in this 16.5 area. There should be some form of a bid, but we'll see. We'll see how this one plays out. I'm just going to manage my 50 cents on Eric, not doing a whole lot. Futures bouncing. Okay, futures respecting the 15. This actually makes my job a lot harder because I can't then just say, oh, I want to automatically short this on the pop because we respected that 15 and I have 65 up top. That prices me in right in the middle. No, we're going to wait on that one. You're out of Veru?
Come on, Veru. This is going to be, is this going to be my most frustrating stock one more time tomorrow? Let's see. Or today, let's see. Let's go over to Neil, though, quickly. What's up?
Yeah, crazy action, Veru, but you got to take your shot with that one. And we talked about Twitter this morning. Worth noting, some other social media companies to the downside. Snapchat down 1% on the lows of the day, so falling off here. I saw Pinterest down at those lows. Of course, the NASDAQ is fading, but it is just past 10:30. A holiday short week here. Across the pond, they will be closed for the day in about an hour. So let's check in with Ms. V to see how Europe has been doing.
Hey Neil, European markets are positive after European Central Bank confirmed the end of bond buying. Wizz Air is up around 9% on signs of encouraging summer bookings. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Ms. V. That dolphin, by the way, just hit the lows of the day as Veru also was making moves to the downside. I was with you, Sean. I went with the long several times. You got to take your shot, I think, on Veru there. It's still trying to hold that 16 level, however, so this isn't really done just yet. Gets above that hull price, and who knows?
I did, just in case we didn't get bottom tick there, I went back long again on Veru, trying to use a little bit lower of a spot here. So we'll try to hold this long here on this name and then just see where we go, because honestly, it's just dancing now, but it's not. I mean, it's making aggressive moves, but I don't know, just like it was doing at 17. Remember we said, oh, it's having some problems here. It's the same kind of thing at 16. So let's hope that we're the right way this time. And instead of it, making this decision, it goes up, not down. But I mean, I'm very close to getting out again. I mean, it's just like I put in too much work to look at Facebook and AMD and all these kind of names to really just be sitting here and trading Veru recklessly. So I'm in it right now. If it takes down not too much lower than this, then we'll get out. Let's see if it can hold 16. It looks like it's trying, so that's good. But again, it's your own share size. So if you're able to hold this, great. I don't have a long-term look on this stock, so I'm just going to hold it for the momentum. And if it breaks back down below right now, basically, we're going to get out of this name. I think it's breaking through 80. We're going to get out. So here comes Veru right back to the downside. Dramatic move down, man, from that 1750 back into 1550. So Veru, there it is. No, we're not out yet. Ooh, that's Lex. That's what just hit me in there. So we take Lex long right now through that 440. So maybe this is the name that gets going. We're going to use VWAP on this, 420 as our out. So if that hits, we'll be gone on Lex. But right now, let's see if it can dance to the upside. Obviously, I'm trading these things wrong, but let's see. Maybe Lex goes and we can get something out here near these highs again of 470, 480, something like that. Here goes Lex. We're in that position.
Yeah, as you guys can see, I actually stepped into Veru. Remember, I mentioned around 16, there should be a buyer. There should be some buy-side action. I'm looking at the level 2 going, yeah, there should be some buy-side action given what we did in the pre-market at these prices. So why not? I take 1601. Risk it till 1550, because if you lose 1550, it becomes a much bigger problem, at which point I don't want to participate in it. So I can put up like 55 cents, 60 cents in risk and see if we get the highs taken out again, because if we're going to buy, it has to be done through here, right through this pre-market area from pretty much this morning. That's where the resistance was in the pre-market. If we're going to catch a bid, it has to be around this price point with some flexibility. That's why I'm sitting in the 50s. We'll see how this one plays out. I'm okay with the risk. 50 cents to take a shot on this one, given what it's done. Yeah, let's take a look at it for now. Of course, when this thing gets going, it accelerates fairly quickly. So I'm not chasing this. Definitely not going to take any more. But if I'm going to price in, I'm going to price in right around 16.
Every single break that I'm taking, I take 6 cents on that one, and then it sort of tries to reverse back out again. Oh my God. Yeah, so I won't hold this for very long. If it takes down 420, then we're gone. Shout out to Elon Musk on that one as well. But here we go again, one more time for this name. There it goes. Okay, see you, Lex. Failed again on that one, so we'll go to the downside. These aren't big risk spots for me, but still, like I'm trying these names for you, and I don't have good reads, I guess, on what's happening here. So we still do though have Veru. So I'm going to hold this one. We can make it all back. I mean, this just goes to 17. We're back to flat, or even less than that. We're back to flat on Veru for the day. So let's see if it can get back to the upside. I don't even have any offers out, although I feel silly not putting one in the 80s. So let's put one at 1680 in case it does rip up. Meanwhile, $1.70 in the money on AMD and 50 cents in the money on Facebook. I don't want to forget about those ones, but here we go. Maybe we got something now if Veru starts to pick up. What's up, Neil?
What's up? HPK got to $35, well, almost to $35, $34.74, I see is the high of the day there, before putting in another reversal. So consolidation break, over and over again for this name. We were talking about it yesterday, and then just now when it consolidated at 32, another high of the day breakout. And this was essentially just a talk on Jimmy Chill talk was the only news here, and that was in yesterday's trade.
All right, I'm trying to work my way out of some Ericsson here. Bouncing after it broke through 850. Yeah, it's not exciting, but it's making me money, so I'm going to talk about it. It broke through 850 to the downside and then snapped back up. I think it's maybe time to take some profit. 43 cents on a $9 name. Yeah, I'll take that. So here we are kind of working our way. We got a great price there at $8.99, which is the high. So working through these 850s, 855, I've got some bids down there. I'll layer some bids and see if we can grab some exits here as we get through that 850 and then manage the rest of it. I think if it goes through 870, I'm going to take my 29 cents, call it a day. Veru's still messing with that 16. So like I said with Veru, we'll just give it till 1550 or so. In that event, I'll get out. GNRC just broke 260. Okay, I see it now. GNRC, a daily breakthrough 260. That one I like through the bottom. Downtrend all day, down to 3% on the day. And you're going to take out the lows from pretty much the lows that I wanted to work with here, anyways, from the 24th of February. And then we clearly took out that 270 low from mid-March or so. So we'll keep an eye on this one through 260 because I think that could be a nice little long. Depending on the risk, though, GNRC is a stupid risk on it. It's a stupid high risk trade to take, even with the break. The setup was nice, but the risk is fairly high. So I'll keep an eye on this one, but definitely depending on how the futures move. Because if the futures doing what they're doing, if they take out 15, I'm going to go hands off and go right back to trading only the two names that I have and the futures setup that I want to take. But apart from that, if I can't get my hands on the futures, I'll do some maybe some GNRC, but I'll definitely look at some other names.
Yeah, look at this market. Hold on a second. I was going to say talk after to my wife. Okay, right there. I was just looking at Facebook right here, and that's starting to collapse right now, back down to the lows. So let's take another bid here if we can get it at 70 or so on Facebook, as we just missed that reload. We were looking at this 213.50 there. We didn't get it, but Facebook is coming back to the downside as the NASDAQ. Maybe I don't want to miss that 70 bid. Let's put another one there at 78. See, this is what I mean. Like sometimes, it went down to 70 and I pushed bid. Sometimes I just market some out there. Give up that little bit damn it, that's 20 cents there. We just gave up. Okay, I do have a new trade though coming. Hopefully we get 80. I'm bidding 80. This comes back down. You'll see me get out of some of that Facebook trade for an 80-cent win. So that's really starting to, there it goes. Did we get that? No, we didn't. We missed our 80 again on Facebook, or did I get it? No, I didn't. Oh, it's at 78. That's why. Okay, hopefully that'll come through. Next thing, Rite Aid. So stupid me, so stupid. When it was down here at $8, and I was like debating if this was going to break or not, it actually broke to $7.98. But like when that happened, I should have got long again because that's a fail break at a level that I like. So right now I am sitting back there. I don't know if we get it or not, but I'm sitting back here right now for that level as AMD still is starting to go to the downside again. But I'm starting to, there we go, we got our Facebook. I was thinking about getting this Rite Aid like 805 or so. Let's take that bid. So if we get it, that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting to put on an upsized position for Rite Aid, defending that $8 mark. So that's something to look at for sure. Down goes Facebook, now into the 60s. So this is really starting to drop, man. We really should have loaded up here. We didn't, unfortunately. Good trade, though, for me today. Stupid Lex went back up to 440. Now it's back down to 420, so that's okay for me. Veru, we did get out there, but it's kind of dancing as well, not doing anything. So far 0 for 2 on some of these big movers today. But we definitely are rocking on what we do best, man. Facebook and AMD cooking right now. But we do have Sector Watch with Neil over there at the big screen. Let's see what's up.
Well, what's not up, as you mentioned, there is AMD, and not leading the way to the downside, but you look at the semis, and they've been incredibly weak. So talked about global foundries there, but you've got Intel down 2, AMD down 2, NVIDIA down 2, Lam down 1.5%, Qualcomm as well. So a lot of weakness overall in that sector. Hey, but the transports, as we mentioned, still strong. Delta with the upgrade up 2.5%, actually 2 3/4. Southwest 1.5. American Airlines, which led the way yesterday, super strong day for them. They're up 1% just in today's trade, so still looking pretty good. You got some other travel names there. RCL 1.7, Expedia up 2.5%, NCLH 1.5. Consumer durables. Look who's having a really strong day in the middle of that board. Down day, Nike up 4.5%. Big, strong day for them. Of course, going to point out 2 names related to Elon. Tesla shares down 3.5%. So Elon focused on Twitter, which is still holding up 3.5%. Tesla has been falling all morning long. Maybe investors don't like him dividing his attention. You do see a lot of tech weak. Google, worth noting, Alphabet, down 1.7%. And we've talked about the banks here. Wells Fargo getting crushed, bouncing back a little bit here, now down 3.5%. We did have strong earnings from the trading banks. Citigroup doing pretty well. Goldman Sachs as well as Morgan Stanley, all to the green. But overall, it's been a bit of a mixed day, but you can see there are some obvious points of weakness. Those semis across the board, Red.
Hey, Erickson cashed out some in front of that 850, 855, working 855, 854s. And here we are out. It's trading 855 by 856 now. Now I have no reason to rush the exits. We'll give Erickson a little bit more time to figure out what he wants to do, but it is down 8.5% on the day, and it's starting to make a bounce off those 850. So we'll respect it, take some profit, because 8.99 fill, 8.55 average exit. That's a decent chunk of change. I'll take that, 44 cents. Why not? And then GNRC, I'm doing the risk analysis on GNRC. I'm like, no, I can't do it. It's aggressive the way it's moved. Like, this is nuts. From 265 all the way down to 258 south of 260, and it's still going in this kind of linear fashion. And the way it broke that daily is not the best approach that I would take, that I would want a stock to take when it breaks it. So I'm just going to go hands off on GNRC. Yeah, it broke 260, but I'm going to remove the alert, move on from that. One that I do want to keep an eye on, though, Snow. Snow is down quite a bit here, 6.5% on the day, and looking like it wants to take 200. That's going to be one to watch. Yeah. It's that low from, looks like the early April, pretty much. We kind of bounced around that 200. Every time we attempted, we got a little bit higher. And then finally today, we are coming through that 200. It looks like we cracked it once. Now we're just flirting with it and going real quiet. We'll see if Snow can actually get underneath and stay and trade underneath without getting hit with the buy run. But if it can, now it's at 199.84, but if it can stay down here, it could be a nice little shot to the short side, but you're going to have to put up some risk, though. It's going to have to be about $5 in terms of risk profile for Snow, but Snow gives you that downside potential by breaking out this way. I think we have a chance towards 190, and then if we break 190, maybe 170. We'll talk about that if it ever gets there, but first, it's got to get and stay underneath 200. Snow, possible option on the short side.
Yeah, we're going to sit here and take it. Oh, man, I was going to say we're going to sit here and take out some more here on Facebook as we're trying to get this to the downside right now as the market is just kind of dancing one more time here. Facebook's come down and touched 50 like 3 or 4 times, and we haven't really done anything about it. So, yeah, just to put a bid there in the 60s, see if we can catch it. I just want to give you guys an update. I am going to be reversing this Facebook trade very soon, I think. Oops, what happened there? Very soon, I think, because I want to take one more shot right around here, 213.50, okay? And then if we break above 214, that's where I really feel like we got to go long at that point. But until then, let's just try to, just ease up on it. I have one more bid down there to get out. Hopefully it can come back in. We'll take that out, and then we'll try to hold the rest right now. We did get a reload on Rite Aid. It didn't touch us for everything, but we got some down there. Aren't you going to cancel, maybe go a little bit lower on Rite Aid? Maybe the market's going to bounce here. I don't know. Yeah, let me cancel that and go a little bit lower on RAD. So Rite Aid right there, we got that 05. It dipped down to 98. So let's see if we can get something a little bit closer if we're going to put on real shares, because I don't want to get out at 98. I'd like to get on like a 90, like a 95 break or something like that. So, but again, the market's trying to turn down. What's amazing is this Apple trade, because yesterday we fought this I'm starting to get tired now, boy. This Claritin, it says non-drowsy. Okay, so Apple right now to the downside, still moving. And yesterday we shorted, we shorted, and it went the other way against us. Are my trades even here yesterday? No, they're not. We tried to short all of this move before eventually it coming back down. It looks like Apple today starts it to the downside. So we were one day too late on that idea. But Apple right now, it's 1046, starting to fall back down. So far, not great here. If Apple gives up 168, man, this market could be in a hell of a lot of trouble. So that's kind of the play that we're looking at right here. What is going against me right now? Ford's coming back down, just noticing that. We're still waiting for 50s for that one. You're going to say I'm out of the money, but I got out of half of that trade already. Really what this was trying to get it to go to 80. It didn't. So now we'll just hold out, see if we can get a reload down there. And then like I just mentioned, Facebook, almost at a reload spot. The market route, I don't know if you want to do a quick hot take on this, but it looks like we're starting to get back up here on this market. So I don't want to trust too many shorts right now, but we could take a reversal into the close.
Yeah, and this is exactly what I was looking forward to, is that 15. If we can get through 15, I'll start getting aggressive and start chasing this a little bit to the sell side. But if we couldn't get through 15, I didn't want to get caught up in the shorts down there. So I'm waiting. I would have initially preferred the shorts here in the 40s. Never got filled on this little move up from 30. So missed out on the move down towards 15. Now we're bouncing back towards 30, but I'm not going to take the short the second time around because it looks a little bit different now that I know that the 15 has been confirmed. So we're going to wait a little bit. The shorts are still going to be on the table, but at the same time, you got to be aware that this has now boxed in a little bit. 65 up top. 44.15 down below, clear buy side action south of 25, clear sell side action north of 40. You're gonna have to wait and see which one the market decides to go with. But I am looking for shorts if we can get above 40 and set up. I am not looking for longs at the moment. So we're just I am hoping, so I'm not sitting here just waiting and doing nothing. I am hoping this market goes up another 15, 20 points so we can actually get into a range where I can actually start looking again for shorts. Since I'm not going to be able to get into anything now on the futures, let's go back to equities. I'm still waiting on Snow to figure out what it wants to do with 200, so that's still happening. Ericsson is still flirting with that 855, 860, so nothing doing there. Veru, after popping towards that 16.5, is now backing down a little bit. But again, the read on Veru is going to be 16 towards the highs versus 15.5. If we break 15.5, I got to worry about what resistance is up here because we saw it in the pre-market. We still got to respect it. So it's got to go through these prices to the upside. It's got to bounce essentially through these prices and back to the upside if it actually is going to confirm the strength. Of course, if we lose it, that's a much bigger issue. Then I'm definitely not going to be back involved in this one there. It was a long initially that I got out of, and now I'm just kind of saying, oh, pre-market highs gone with some buy-side action. Yeah, definitely worth a shot on the buy side. Futures, bouncing through 15 into the 20s, nothing. Okay, we're not going to do anything there. What's the NASDAQ doing? Down 1.2%. It's not even attempting to bounce. At least the S&P is actually attempting to bounce. NASDAQ, much weaker, 1.28 to the downside. And here we are, not even 20 points away from the lows. We're actually going to be about 10 points from the lows if we start moving this way. So NASDAQ, no bounce there. So
before you go
it does look like we're going to be waiting a little bit as the lows come in on the NASDAQ.
Before we go to Neil, just hit this for a new trade alert because we did finally short Citigroup on that 51 break. So Citigroup breaks 51. We do have a position now on this name. We've seen Wells Fargo fail. Morgan Stanley.
I don't know. I got out of
that's
Morgan
doing,
Stanley.
but we talked about some banks coming back in. So we'll take Citigroup here, one of the positive banks. So there is a little bit of a risk associated with this because it is positive. But let's go short here, 51 flat on Citigroup. Trying to respect some of these bottoms. Wouldn't mind taking something out at 90 if it goes. And then we'll see about trading where it was in the pre-market down here to 50-50 or so. But right now, Citigroup on my mind. Short until we break through this 50 period at 51.20. All right, we got that Facebook fill, which is beautiful. Now that's $1 plus in the money. Let's go over to Neil with Money Talks, my favorite segment.
Glad you like this one here, Sean. Money Talks today brought to you by the Small Exchange, making it easier to access futures with small, standard, and simple products. No pattern day trading, less capital than stocks. Get started trading futures today. lots of movement here overall. We did have some weakness in the euro, down 1%. ECB indicating that they're halting their bond buying, so the euro under a lot of pressure here today. You can see US dollar index obviously up pretty strong so far in today's action. I think everyone is always concerned about what's going on in crypto land. Down 2% Ether and Bitcoin. This time we're looking at Bitcoin bouncing, or at least attempting to bounce above that 40,000 level. So it got back above. We're sort of consolidating higher, looking like it was going to be all good. And then now we're retesting that 40,000. This key level for the last couple of days has been pretty strong. 40,000 on Bitcoin, 3,000 on Ether. But the longer we hold here without breaking away, you know what usually happens. The weekend, always active, and it's an extra long one. So hold on to your butts when it comes to crypto land.
All right, let's go. We're working on getting verified on Twitter, so thank you, Maggie, for that one, and we'll see where we can go. Okay, so Rite Aid, I told you we were going to lighten up, man. We took one fill, not the fill that we wanted there into this market coming back down. Oil down that 1% today. The market basically at lows again here right now. So that Rite Aid, good thing we got out of the way, and I'm going to say that was a win for me right there. Uh-oh, graphics not working. Oh, you guys know that, okay. Yeah, all right, here we go. A nice little move downside now. We just got 95s on Citigroup. Come on, Citigroup, give me that 91. That's really the big, oh no, 92s we got it. Yes, sir. This is a good trade. Oops, I hit the graphic again. This is a good trade for us here on Citigroup as it's starting to go to the downside. Yeah, this could be a good one for us. What's up, Neil, again?
There was a news, of course, of a meeting with Twitter for earlier today, actually at 10 o'clock. But now Twitter will hold an all-hands-on meeting with employees at 2 p.m. To discuss the Musk offer. That is going to be Pacific time, so that should be coming up pretty quickly, guys. Obviously, big moves here for Twitter and for I guess Tesla as well. But yeah, 2 p.m. Pacific, all hands on deck with employees. I think before there was talking about the board, but this should be interesting to see what comes out of this, because take it or leave it, right? If they reject Musk's offer, you know what can happen. It could head heavily to the downside.
All right. Yeah, that's going to be nasty for sure depending on what happens. Okay, so I thought I had a bid on Facebook. I do. It's in the 20s. Let's just put another bid right now. If we can just get this 31, we'll take it there on Facebook. See if it runs us back down over. This is a nice win for us. Unfortunately, we didn't reload there. I don't know why. We talked about that. I mean, I know why. We were waiting for up here for the 50 period, but there it is, a nice little bid there for us. And here goes Citigroup, man. This is my biggest trade of the day, actually, net-wise. We put on some shares here. Wow, 70s. Oh, I didn't even realize that one. Let's see if we get more downside here for Citigroup. Hopefully it takes down those 78s. We just smashed that 51 short, so a good trade for us. It would be nice to get filled, though, guys, right here. So let's see if we can get some more fills on Citigroup, back down in. Nice trade, back down to 78 here. We'll see. There it goes. It runs us over. We take that. Wow, good trade here for me on this thing, as we're starting to get accelerated now big time to the downside here for Citigroup. Ford just hovering. I may just get out of this one as well. Really, my big position now is Citi. This is going to be number one on my board. Them and Facebook now battling, guys.
Yeah, and as you can see, Veru, out the door we go on Veru. We tried it, low risk long, around 16, seeing if it can bounce through here, back towards the highs. This becomes a problem. We had resistance in the pre-market in this price range, and then we broke through there. And then on the way back down, there should have been some buy strength, and there was attempted buying all the way back towards 1680 and change, and then we did a complete U-turn, and now we're south of 1550. This is more than enough for me. I've seen enough on Veru. I'm essentially, at this point, this will be the last trade. I won't even look at it anymore. Initially, I thought this was good enough, but after the halt and then the take up the highs, I'm like, there's a chance, there's a low risk chance that we actually get going. Clearly, that's gone out the door, and we're just going to let it be. Neil?
Yeah, we have a holiday shortened week, so 3-day long weekend, but there are some earnings next week coming out. We had a lot of the banks, and there's Bank of America for you. But don't forget Genius Brands every now and then, good for a little bit of a squeeze. Pretty light board. We had all the action today.
What do we got here? Oh, I missed the banks. Bank of America was one of them.
I missed it.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Why do you put that back up there, guys?
Genius
Oh, it's only
Brands,
BNY. Oh, it's right there. Yeah, it's not too much.
BNY,
BNY Mellon, Bank of America. So
Synchrony.
Yeah, so, okay. I guess that is one of those things there where we'll just wait for BAC. I mean, I'm short Citigroup. We did have some nice cash outs there, $78, $77. The banks have been sad, man. The banks haven't been great heading into today. So we'll check out JP Morgan. Does it take down that 125 yet? Very, very close. So that 125 is going to be an area of concern. Ooh, that was the low of the day? No, I guess not. It shows the low of the day here. I don't see that as being the low unless that wick was 125. No, not even close. That's 125.90. So yeah, I think you can try to defend JPM at 125, but the way these banks are cruising to the downside today, yeah, not much love for them. Right now, though, Citigroup is coming back to the upside right now on a little bit of a bounce here in the market. So I don't know, maybe we'll take out another piece if we can get that. Good thing we noticed that when it was down here in the 70s. We had targets lower, so maybe it can still get to there. Possible reload at these spots. But again, Citigroup is still up for the day. What we were playing was really a break here of 51. That was the bottom. And then we came back in and kind of just started to respect some of these levels into the 80s. So maybe there is some strength there. But we'll take another piece out at 92 right now. What's up, Ms. V?
Hey guys, thank you for starting this trading day with us. I hope you're all in a profitable territory and the whole trading day is ahead. So please join Tony, me, and hopefully other traders for the rest of until 2 p.m. to be clear. And happy National Pecan Day, everyone.
Did we not just have pecans the other day? At least the day that I was here. Maybe it was pecan tart or something. Maybe there was a tart day. I don't know. Anyways, pecans. I can get down with pecans. You can't eat them a little bit, put them on some the baked goods. Yeah, I can get down with pecans are pretty good. I actually have a decent mix of these nuts from Costco. They do it from like the macadamia nuts, the almonds, the what else do they put some fancy stuff in there. The walnuts, obviously, pecans are in there as well. There's a decent actual big cashews, that's actually the big one. Yeah, the cashews are in there too. A decent mix of those. I don't know if I can eat them on their own, but definitely if you mix them in with other things for sure. And obviously those tarts with pecans, down with that.
Yeah, the pecan pie, but yeah, I like it like a trail mix, right? Like I like those. The cashews are the best, but they don't load it with cashews. I think they're the most expensive.
Actually, the Costco ones are mostly cashews.
Yeah, no, we go to Costco. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's like a just over a kilogram container, and it's like more. I want to say almost like 40% of that is cashews.
Buy some of that trail mix. I'll go in on that with you. I don't have a Costco membership, man, but like cashews as a majority of a trail mix, that's legit, man, because that's usually the one, like you said, Sean. Like it's like the tiny amount, and that's where it's good.
There you go, Sean. You heard it. You're here next week. He wants in on that tub of mixed nuts there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so what, now I have to go shopping for
I guess you do. I guess you do.
No,
you go every weekend. You know that.
No, yeah, I mean, my wife goes quite often. Not every week, though, but I don't mind going. Fill up the car there. You get like 10 cents off.
Oh, so. No, I'm not waiting in line for Costco gas.
No. I tell her that, too. I was like, why would we wait in line? Even if, I mean, the thing is, if you fill your tank, it's 60 liters, 70 liters, or something like that. To save 10 cents, it can add up.
It can definitely add up.
You know, but I mean, again, honestly, if it is 10 cents, 10 cents is like the max. So you're going to save like $5 or $6, but it's going to take you like a half hour.
Maybe more. So it depends. It's $6 or half an hour. If you got something going on, if you have nothing going on, I guess you can save the $6. If you got a busy life, make the trade-off, depending obviously on where you're at, what you need to do, and all that other things. But for me, I see the Costco gas lineups, and I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
That. Yeah, I'm not really filling those lineups either. But again, you stroll by, it's decent. I don't mind waiting a couple minutes for it. I am trying to be frugal as well. But okay, yeah, what a great show, man. The market's down, now starting to go back down. I almost reloaded again there. It didn't get up to where I wanted it to, but Facebook making some dances again upside. So we'll see if we can reload that one. But hey, man, without any further ado, he killed it yesterday. Let's see if he can keep it going 2 for 2. This time, he's with Miss V, and it's our midday show. It's Tony and Valeria. Take it over, guys.
Welcome, everybody, to the midday show. You can see we got Valeria back with us. Thanks for coming back. Unfortunately, Prad's still out today. He's not feeling too good under the weather, but I know Prad's a trooper. We call him Flatten Prad on the show, but really to me, he's Prad the powerful. He's powerful Prad. He's persistent Prad, and I know for a fact he's going to be joining us back next week for the show. So prayers for a quick